So let's head back to the race course ground. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk and Adam Bridge there for Talksport. Courtney, I wanted to talk to you about the Wrexham attack. Well, the lack of potency there. And a certain Kiefer Moore, who, for me, needs to prove his worth. He had a very good start to life at Wrexham at the start of this season, and he's tailed off in the last half or dozen or so games. For me, more than capable of leading the line in the Premier League. Missed a sitter last weekend, the kind of chance that he has to take. And I just wonder how much they need from him and his experience right now.
Yeah, similar to Windass really as well in terms of having a very good start. I know he scored more recently, but yeah, you need your big players like Windass, like Kiefer Moore to be able to come up with the goods in the big moments, because that's what you are, one, always as a centre forward. You carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You're expected to do the hardest thing in football, which is put the ball in the back of net, and especially when you're one of the more experienced players, everyone's looking to you. So yeah, he has to be doing better with those chances. But you know, I mentioned confidence about Coventry, and then that works the other way as a forward. When you're not putting the ball in the back of the net, it then sort of becomes something that changes in even just the way that you approach the ball, and you're that desperate to put the ball in the back of the net sometimes that you do the wrong thing, or you snatch at it, or sort of your movement leading up to it isn't good enough. So he needs to go back to basics. That's what I was always told as a forward. If you were going for a period, don't try too much, almost go back to basics. So that's what he needs to do, and obviously the greatest antidote to that is to put the ball in the back of the net again tonight. But from what I've seen, like you say, the chances that he's missing looks like a centre forward to me that is overthinking things.
The ball is in the back of the net already this evening in the FA Cup. Luton Town lead Forest Green, 22 minutes on the clock. Lamine Fanny with the goal. Good finish from just inside the penalty area. Looking at Wrexham's midfield is an interesting one tonight. I know Adam spoke about Ben Sheaf a little bit earlier on, who comes back into the team after 3 games out. Lewis O'Brien, for me, is real quality at this level. Came off the bench, I think, last week, made a real impact. He's got great drive, great energy, and I'm interested to see how they're coupled together and what kind of partnership they might build. Yeah, you're right. The thing I think about when I think about O'Brien is, like you say, that energy, that dynamism, that never say die attitude, and he always seems to be there and about Lewis O'Brien in terms of, you know, his ability to keep going to the end, the position that he picks up, both sort of an attacking and a defensive sense. But you're right, it's in terms of a midfield, it's always quite difficult, especially because obviously they play 3 at the back, Wrexham, so it's trying to fit everyone in and for it to be balanced, and I think that's the hardest thing in the midfield. So it'll be for them finding that balance, but there's no doubt that Lewis O'Brien brings massive energy and undoubtedly a big amount of quality to that midfield. So it's just, you know, a case of Phil Parkinson being able to find the balance between them all. We mentioned a quick start a little bit earlier, but how do Wrexham deal with it? Are we going to see them play on the counter tonight? What does it mean in terms of shutting down the early attacks, the energy that we've spoken about? Do they sit deep? Do they play on the counter? What's the best way to nullify Coventry? Well, I think in terms of average possession, they've been quite low on that all season, Wrexham, so they probably are going to drop deep to an extent, but I don't think you drop too deep and you invite the pressure. The big thing for me is when you're playing out from the back, don't give Coventry a sniff, because you know they're quite happy to go and high press and make you make mistakes. Don't do that early on. I've seen so many teams still persist to do it and then get caught out by Coventry with the way that they press. So I think it's about being clever early on in the game. Obviously, like I say, you've got the likes of Kiefer Moore up there that you know is a great aerial threat, so don't be afraid to go a little bit longer. I just think in this first initial 10-15 minutes, if you're Wrexham, don't concede, don't try and be too clever and earn the right to play in the game. And I know that seems strange because they're the home side, but Coventry are the league leaders for a reason. We got a midfield that's of note for Coventry as well tonight. I wonder what you make of the pairing of Grimes and Allen. Yeah, I like both of them. I think in terms of what I was speaking about with balance for Wrexham, I think they complement each other really well, and especially when you think of Sakamoto and Mason Clarkswell liking to get high. And it's the same, I know it's Bidwell and Kessler Hayden tonight, but with whoever it is, you know that they love to get high in wide areas, so having that consistent midfield, I know obviously whether it be Allen, it's normally Allen that joins, but whether it be Allen or Grimes are joining, there's always one. They always have that sort of triangle in the middle of the 2 centre-halves, the defensive midfielder, to add the right balance, and the midfielders know when to go at the right time. Expecting anything other than a Coventry win? Honestly, no. I think Wrexham will give it a good go, and you can probably hear it, the crowd, they're right behind the team, but the way that Coventry have been performing this season, if they perform anywhere near to that, then I expect them to be going home with 3 points, Hugh. Well, the Red Dragons fans making themselves heard, as you might expect, for a big evening under the lights in the Championship. Let's hope for a Halloween spooktacular here on Talksport 2. That's the last one, I promise. Coventry can extend their lead to 6 points at the top of the Championship as they go to Wrexham in the company of former Sheffield United striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk and Talksport's Adam Bridge.
Thank you, Hugh. Good evening, everyone. It is a Friday night. It is Halloween. And certainly so far this campaign for Coventry City has been all about the treats, and plenty of them. 34 goals, 12 games unbeaten, 8 victories and 4 draws so far. Frank Lampard is making things happen for these Sky Blue supporters who've travelled in their number to Wrexham this evening to take on a side, of course, who know what it's like to make things happen in the last few seasons, but now they're finding life in the Championship just that little bit more challenging than it's been in the last few campaigns. But tonight, a chance to show what they've got against the league leaders. 3 points clear at the top of the table, ahead of Middlesbrough. They're ahead of Millwall, who sit in third place as well, and clear quite some distance of the team sat in 7th. So already Coventry starting to split up the top 6 in the table, which is what you need to do if you are going to win automatic promotion. Let's look at this Wrexham side for you tonight then. There are 4 changes. Okonkwo is in goal, of course. Danny Ward got injured early in the season, so Okonkwo very firmly the number 1. Cleworth, Hyam, former Coventry man, and Scar are the back 3 tonight. Kabore and Kekeche are the 2 wing backs, with Sheaf, James and O'Brien in the midfield supporting Kiefer Moore and Josh Windass. And as we just heard, Kiefer Moore without a goal in 7 Championship games, and Josh Windass hasn't scored in 6 home appearances here. All 4 of his goals this season have come on the road for Wrexham. Burton's the reserve keeper. Connor Cody back amongst the substitutes. James McLean as well alongside Longman, Thomason, Dobson, who misses out in terms of a starting place for the first time this season, Sam Smith, Nathan Broadhead and Ryan Hardy as well. As for Coventry, 3 changes tonight, all of them in the back line. Rushworth's in goal. Kessler, Hayden, Wolfenden, Kitching and Bidwell are the back 4 tonight. Grimes and Allen in central midfield. Sakamoto, Thomas Asante, Mason Clark and Haji Wright up front. Wilson, De Silva, Sims, Latabodiere is back from injury in amongst the substitutes, as is Victor Torp alongside Eccles, Brow, Perry and Andrews. We are about to get ourselves underway then. Coventry City kicking from left to right in the opening 45 minutes. No surprise the visitors are all in sky blue as ever, and it is the traditional red shirts, white shorts and red socks for Wrexham. Promises to be a good night tonight. The roller coaster that is the Championship. The games come thick and fast. Wrexham were in action here, of course, on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup. They're back at it tonight against the league leaders. You can't ask for a stiffer test. And it's Matt Grimes who gets us underway and immediately goes back to Rushworth, who looks long to try and get Coventry deep into the opposition half immediately, and Grimes again is the next player to touch the ball as he wins a header around about halfway, and it will be a throw down this right hand side for Coventry City immediately. Of course, they do not have Milan van Ivik and that wonderful long throw of his tonight, so instead it'll be Kane Kessler Hayden on throw-in duty down this right-hand side. Whether he's quite got the potent weapon that Van Ivik has to offer, we shall find out. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is alongside us tonight in what promises to be a cracker.
Yeah, I can't wait for this, and I was mentioning the build-up to Hugh. I love watching Coventry play. It's not very often now that you just see this free-flowing football, all the attackers on show, and it's not a case of getting a couple of goals and then just trying to see the game out. They just love attacking. They love to be ruthless, and it's something, for a few years we've lost out the game, but like I say, they can mix it up as well. They've got a long throw specialist, albeit is not here tonight. They're happy to go through the thirds, go long, and I just think at the minute, from what we're seeing quite a complete football team at Championship level.
They're unbeaten in their first 12 league games, 8 victories and 4 draws so far. Of course, it's in terms of points, 28 points from 12 games is their best ever start to a league campaign. Here is Grimes, forward in towards the feet that time of Haji Wright, who gets it square to Thomas Asante, who's in the form of his life right now. The former Salford and West Bromwich Albion attacking player, playing in that number 10 role tonight, in the absence, of course, through injury still of Jack Radoni, but they've coped well without him so far. On that far side, it's Mason Clark, and the ball goes into touch. What will be another throw on that far side for Coventry City. You're already seeing the early part of the possession here. I know you mentioned in the build-up about Wrexham conceding possession to the opposition. 42% is all they've have averaged throughout this campaign, and it's only Derby and Charlton that see less of the ball in a game than Wrexham seem to.
Yeah, but the upside in the way of what they do when they get forward is actually they're extremely clinical. I think they've taken just sort of under half the amount of shots that Coventry had, but actually I think they're fourth in the Championship so far for shot conversion. So when they get there, a lot of the time they do something with it, but they need to get higher up the pitch and just add to that possession, I think, going forward.
Here's Sakamoto, early ball into the penalty area, far edge, just too much on it, no one coming in on that. And that will run out of play for what will be a goal kick away to our right-hand side for Wrexham. It was a good pick out there by Rushworth to Sakamoto, and him and Kessler Hayden combining nicely. Kessler Hayden waited for his opportunity, obviously had a terrific season last season at Preston, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's the thing sometimes. You can train really well, and you don't play like this as a team and training not be spot on, by the way, and that just doesn't take the first 11, that takes everyone involved. So he's obviously already playing his part, and sometimes it is maybe a suspension or an injury that makes sure that you get your place in the starting 11, but at that point, can you take advantage of it? And that's the big thing for him tonight, to perform well.
Kiefer Moore wins the header. Josh Windass looking to run onto it midway inside the Coventry City half, but can't quite get there in the end. And instead, on that right-hand side, a chance maybe to break forward by Kaborde. And in the end, out wide on this left-hand side, Kakache is trying to get into a decent position if they can find him, but Wrexham instead choose to keep the ball in a central position. And there it's Dan Scarr who gathers it up. Dom Hire moved out to the left-hand side of the back three tonight for Wrexham in a slight structural change, with being no Lewis Brunt tonight. Callum Doyle as well, who is of course formerly of Manchester City. He spent some time on loan at Coventry as well back in 22-23, but he's also suspended tonight by Van Ivik. So a few too many picking up their 5 yellow cards early on in this campaign. And it's back with Rushworth, and we've had 4 minutes already, and Coventry have it down to this left-hand side. Kessler Hayden will just knock that into the middle of the park. Thomas Asante drops deep to collect it. Hadji Wright is there as well, but Kiefer Moore will gather possession up and then find Matty James, and Wrexham now with a chance to have the ball maybe. Lewis O'Brien dropping it back into Scar. James on halfway. Another one who's got links to Coventry as well. Matty James, having made 24 appearances, scored 3 goals for them in a season there back in 2021. That clip forward that time by Kaborde on that far side was a bit wasteful, and it allows Coventry just to gather possession again away to our left-hand side. 4.5 minutes played on Talksport 2, it remains 0-0.
Yeah, you're right, Adam, wasteful, because actually Josh Windass had made a really good run. He'd come across the line, he kept himself onside, and it just needed one of those to flick round the channel, but Kabore just doesn't get the right connection on it, and I think he's saying that Windass now to Kabore, but I think it's been a relatively okay start for Wrexham. There's been a couple of times where they've played through, they've got on the ball. O'Brien in particular has done well showing in the midfield.
It doesn't look like Lewis O'Brien's going to play in that kind of 10 role behind Windass and Kiefer Moore, so it'll be Sheaf and James who are the partnership at the heart of that midfield for Wrexham, to experienced Championship campaigners, of course. Matty James now 34 years of age. He's got work to do here as he picks the ball up midway inside his own half, lifting out to that right-hand side where he finds Issa Kabore, who, as we mentioned earlier, made a lightning start to life in the Championship, picking up 3 assists in his, I think, first 3 games. He has started the last 7. And he finds Matty James here, and down the left-hand side, the ball will come to Hyam, who has the captain's armband tonight for Wrexham. And it's dropped in short to James again, and then Sheaf tries to play a ball through, and the chase is on here. Kakache is trying to get there first, but Luke Wolfenden spots the danger, and Carl Rushworth, well, I hope no one's watching from England, as he slices a clearance just down beneath us here, and it will be a throw-in down this left-hand side for Wrexham.
Kakache does well there. I think the ball through is a little bit more by luck than judgment, because Lewis O'Brien actually is getting really high, and at that point it was almost like a forward 3 with himself, Moore and Windass.
Kakache down this left-hand side, gets it over, only half good. Windass with a shot, perhaps should have done better, 14 yards out. He was kind of edging backwards as he hit it, and he fires it over the bar, but the first effort of the game does come for Wrexham, but Windass puts it over the top.
It's a wicked ball in, bags of pace on it, curled by Kakache, but you're right for Windass in terms it was a difficult one, because he's having to come backwards, so as he's coming backwards he's trying to hit it as he's leaning back, so no wonder it flies over the bar. What I will say is I think he had a little bit more time than he thought. He can bring that down, because for Coventry everyone's collapsed into the box to try and protect the goal, and there was actually quite a lot of space in front of Windass.
Throwing down this right hand side again for Kesler Hayden, picked up from Aston Villa in a permanent move in the summer, goes short to Liam Kitchen without his ever-present partner Bobby Thomas in the heart of that defence today. Lovely ball forward from Kitchen to find Sakamoto on the right edge of the penalty area. Kesler Hayden working hard to try and win it back against Kakache on that left-hand side, but in the end it's cleared out. Kiefer Moore flicks on. O'Brien will try and take on Kitchen, but Kitchen does plenty of decent defending, and then Grimes just sweeps the ball off the feet of Kiefer Moore, and he goes for an early ball into the penalty area, and Okonkwo's going to gather that inside his 6-yard area.
I like the initial ball out to Sakamoto, and I'll be honest, I think he should do better. The run's perfect, it's out to win. If he takes a big touch across the defender into the penalty box, then it will cause Wrexham all sorts of problems.
Throwing on that left-hand side this time. In fact, I think it's going to be a corner on that far side, in the far distance from us. The rain has ceased. It's a very lovely evening for Halloween in Wrexham. A few trick-or-treats. There were rumours that Britney Spears was going to be here tonight. I'm fairly sure someone may well have dressed up as Britney Spears. Maybe the video to Baby One More Time for Halloween, and someone mistook. That was a bit of a word from some of the locals anyway. We'll find out. She does do the odd crazy thing, so you never know. Halloween in Wrexham might have been on a list of things that she's always wanted to do. Here's the corner on the far side. Matt Grimes is going to swing it in left-footed here for Coventry City. Bit of pushing and shoving inside the penalty area that referee's aware of. It's good. It's nodded down and just wide. And I think Wolfenden was up from the back that time with the header, and that wasn't far away. Just to the... In fact, it may have been Kitchen who got the final touch, but maybe a yard or so to the left of Okonkwo's post, and danger every time from set pieces.
Yeah, he's obviously a tall figure, isn't he? But does well, gets across that front post area. Was very, very congested in there. Does it, heads it down, everything that you should do. It's just unfortunate for him that it, as you say, it's about a yard wide, but very good from aerial situations, Coventry as well as Wrexham.
Windass just waited for that, and in the end Jamie Allen, who's probably the shortest player on the pitch by some distance, just nipped in and nodded it off his toes. I think Windass perhaps needed to go and meet that, but he was just waiting for that ball to drop down. He's another one who had a really good start, but all 4 of his goals, as I said, have gone away from home. He scored 1 in his career against Coventry, 5 appearances against them prior to tonight, but just not firing that front line. 8 between them, but it's been a bit of a barren spell for the pair. Throwing down this near side by Hyam. Headers won first time, flicked on, and it'll be gathered up by Kitching, who just gets it back to Rushworth, and Rushworth will launch it forward down that far side, looking towards the head that time of Mason Clark. Couldn't quite find him. It's Matty James again who has possession. Now he clips the ball over the top for Moore to try and chase onto. That's well read by Kesler Hayden. There's room for Lewis O'Brien on the right hand side, and Lewis O'Brien is found. Chance to shoot maybe. No, he's messed it up. Should have had his shot, but in the end he just paid it to the feet of Jamie Allen. On that far side again, Kabore gets the ball in, and it's headed away. It was lifted in the end by O'Brien after the pass from Issa Kabore. There's Windass at the edge of the penalty area. He's beaten to it by Sakamoto. Sakamoto now to break over halfway. Left-hand side, he's got plenty of support here from Mason Clark, charging into the penalty area, just holds the ball up at the edge of the box, and actually that's well defended by Wrexham, and I think he got caught under his feet on that far side as well. Yeah,
going back to that Lewis O'Brien chance though, I don't know why he's taken so many touches. Windass does well with the ball through to him, threads the ball through the eye of the needle. The weight of pass is exceptional, to the point where I think if he shifts his hips he can wrap it with his left foot first time. He doesn't, takes a touch, and again there's still an opportunity once he takes his first touch to get his shot off. He's waiting for that perfect moment that's never going to come.
Yeah, it's a brilliant pass from Windass to find him on that far side. It all just opened up, but maybe trying to find the perfect moment. Sometimes those perfect moments don't arise, and it was a wasted opportunity in the end. 11 minutes played, but a really bright start here from Wrexham. It remains Wrexham 0, Coventry City 0. You're listening to the EFL on Talksport 2, of course, your home of the EFL. We've got a cracking double bill of EFL action for you tomorrow afternoon as well. Leicester against Blackburn from 12:30, and Watford against Middlesbrough. That's from 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, as Borough look to try and obviously keep pace with Coventry at the head of the table. Mason Clark's committed the foul on that far side on Kabore this time, and he's penalised for it, and it'll be a free kick for Wrexham at the edge of their own penalty area. They've had a tough life here as well. I mean, we talked about it in the build-up today, failing to win any of those first 5 league games of the season. First time it's ever happened in their history. They did get that win against Oxford, but you kind of hope that maybe that will just lift the pressure a little.
Yeah, I think you can hear the noise here. I think it's a cauldron in terms of its atmosphere, no pun intended. But it can also get on top of you, and I think it's got to that point now where it is getting on top of the players in terms of starting with the impetus that they need to as the home team. They're not managing to do that, and I think you retreat a little bit as a player. You sometimes think worst case scenario, and I think more recently that's what we've seen. But actually they've had a really bright start today, Wrexham. It seems like they've shaken that. They know that they've got to start quickly today against Coventry, and they'll be hoping that can continue throughout this 90 minutes.
Throw down this near side from Kesler Hayden. As I say, he's not quite got the purchase that Van Ivik can get on it, but Jamie Allen plays the ball out under pressure. Another throw to Wrexham, level with the edge of the penalty area on this left-hand side. Liberato Kakache is going to take this throw on this near side. He's won championship start since August, Kakache before tonight, but he's won his side at corner here on this left-hand side, and immediately an opportunity from set pieces, but Wrexham to cause problems, and 5 headed goals and 5 goals from corners this season, the most in the championship. This could be a real opportunity. Yeah,
it could, and the opportunities now that they've got to make sure that they take that the delivery in is spot on.
Matty James applauded to the corner flag, just down away to our left-hand side. He's going to swing this one in with his right foot. It's busy, that 6-yard area. I think all but 5 players are in the 6-yard box, so we know where this is going. Moore trying to find himself some space at the back. He's got attention from Mason Clark, and I think the referee, Elliot Bell, pointing to both of them as if to say enough is enough.
Can't help but feel that's a mismatch, Mason Clark and Kiefer Moore.
It does look a little bit like it, where they've stacked the back post here. Rushworth's come for it, got a touch, hooked back goalwards, that time by Hyam, and it had to be headed out by Kitching. And it's another corner on the far side.
You can see that the presence, it's obviously something, as you say, with the statistics that they work on, Wrexham, and certainly have the height on Coventry and the physical presence.
Right, there's a Wrexham train about to depart the station around the penalty spot. There's 4 of them in it. And Lewis O'Brien this time is going to swing this one with his left foot from that far side. Moore surely is the target here, you would feel, as it's swung towards that back post. It's towards Keith Moore, and it was Cleworth as well who was in there, and in the end it's just headed behind, and it will be a goal kick for Coventry City. But we see that's going to be something that Wrexham are really going to play on tonight.
Yeah, I just think that second ball, the first one was perfect, the second one that little bit too deep, and I think where Wrexham are better, it's in the chaos when there's lots of bodies around the goalkeeper, whereas that one just come out to the back post area space.
Well, he's already had 11 headed shots at goal this season as Kiefer Moore. So no surprise that he is that real danger at those set pieces. Another foul, this time from, I think, Mason Clark, or Haji Wright, actually, this time round. And it's another free kick, this time for Wrexham, 5 or 6 yards inside their own half. Windass goes early in towards Moore. Half cleared away that time by Wolfenden. And it comes to Sakamoto, who had dropped in deep. Coventry not really got going yet. Kesler Hayden on this near side will just drop that back into Wolfenden again. At the edge of his own penalty area. Rushworth is available and waiting for him. Carl Rushworth has had loan spells out of Brighton quite regularly. Hull, Swansea, Lincoln and Walsall amongst those. And obviously he's only conceded 2 goals in his last 7 games. 6 clean sheets so far this season for this Coventry City side in this unbeaten run. Bidwell down that far touchline. First start in the championship tonight for Bidwell. And he's helped to set this attack on the way with Allen in central midfield. Kesler Hayden will find Sakamoto on this right-hand touchline. Keeps the ball level with the edge of the penalty area. He's got 2 on him, but Sakamoto willing to try and take him on. And now he's got 2 to try and beat as he goes towards the corner flag. Sakamoto still working hard, keeps the ball alive. He finds Kesler Hayden. And now it's Allen at the edge of the penalty area. Allen into the feet of Haji Wright, who will try and turn, but good strength at the edge of the penalty area that time. And well defended by Ben Sheaf, who will obviously know Haji Wright very well from that time together at Coventry City, and he did just the right thing then. Thomas Asante with a fairly rough challenge that time on Sheaf, his former captain, and it is a free kick to Wrexham midway inside their own half.
What I like about that build-up though is Kiefer Moore does extremely well when the ball goes into him. He holds it up, he keeps possession, And that just allows Wrexham a little bit one of respite, but then to get everyone else higher up the pitch.
Kiefer Moore is the target on halfway. Can't quite get there with the flicked header, and it's safely picked up at the back by Coventry City. 16 points better off than they were at this stage last season when they were sat in 18th. All of that, of course, brought around and about the arrival of Frank Lampard. 30th of November, his first game in charge against Cardiff. It finished 2-2. 80 points they've added since then, which is the most, funnily enough. Bristol City have managed 68 of those who've been ever present in the Championship. So it just shows the fantastic job that Lampard delivered. I think there was a few who said, well, I wonder if this is going to be one of those vanity appointments in the Championship, but it's been far from it. He's really shown his class. Kitching tries to play a ball through, just hits the referee, but it rolls quite nicely to Wolfenden.
Great pass that was.
Now down this right-hand side, it's picked up by Kesler Hayden again. Infield to Jamie Allen. Scored his first goal in 18 months in the game against Watford at the weekend. Grimes out wide to the right-hand side. Sakamoto once more, level with the edge of the penalty area. Onto that left foot of his. He likes to deliver at that point into the feet of Thomas Asante at the edge of the penalty area, who's fouled, and that will be a free kick. And it's just to the left, to the right of the D, should I say, about 4 or 5 yards outside the penalty area.
Yeah, it's relatively central, so go both ways, but definitely suit the left footer here. But that's really the first time that Coventry have moved the ball quickly in and around the box, and that's what I think has caused so many problems for teams this season in terms of the pace in which, one, there's the movement of everyone around, but the pace of the ball, and when they move it with tempo off 1 and 2 touch quickly, it's near impossible to get the ball off them. But it's the first time they've really done that tonight.
So Matt Grimes is over with his left foot. I mean, if Victor Torp was here, he'd probably fancy his chances, but he's amongst the substitutes tonight. 6 goals to his name already this season, of course. But he was missing through injury on Saturday, and I think Frank Lampard just being careful. Doesn't feel he needs to rush him back, given that Jamie Allen played so well at the weekend. So it is going to be Grimes who's over it. Haji Wright as well, I think, having a think about this. And it may well be that Haji Wright goes for it. It's about 25 yards out, just to the right of the D. It is Grimes who whips one, and it's always wide of Okonkwo's left hand upright. It was bending, didn't go for the top corner, just tried to bend it in low, did Grimes, who hasn't scored yet this season, and the wait continues.
Yeah, had Okonkwo scrambling though, but he got across quickly enough, and I think even if it was on target, I think the goalkeeper would have had it covered. But like I say, I think it certainly did suit the left footer there, just to try and whip it round. Just doesn't quite get the execution right.
First league fixture in over 61 years between these two sides, and the first one ever in the top 2 flights of English football. That's a ball over the top for Wrexham. Now Windass down that right-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area, tries to go early, and it comes to O'Brien. Good save with the feet of Rushworth, out with his left boot, blocks it brilliantly. They're still on the attack though. Kakache down this near side, right for the ball across. O'Brien chests it down. Windass at the edge of the area. Shots blocked, appeals for handball. Referee waves it away, and Grimes will bring it out up to Thomas Asante, and Coventry will look to try and counter from midway inside their own half.
Well, it's really good from Wrexham. First of all, I like the early ball, and it's the first time that they've not been first to the ball, Coventry, in terms of when they lose the midfield battle, and that allows the ball over. Here's
Windass. O'Brien 25 yards out from goal to Matty James. Kakache on this near side is in space. James instead goes to Kabore. Right hand side, level with the edge of the box. Now he can get his cross in. It's not the best, it's low, and it's easily cleared at the edge of the penalty area by Bidwell. Good pressure this from the home side though. They've started well here. Kabore on that far side. Now he swings a decent one in. Moore's coming for it, but it's headed away by Kesler Hayden and then volleyed clear by Thomas Asante.
I have to say as well, that save from Rushworth, it's excellent, because I think he starts to lean to his right hand side, thinking that the ball's going to go in at the near post area, but as he's falling, he sees the ball going in a different direction, sticks a leg out. It's a really good save. Windass's follow-up shot as well, it does hit a Coventry player, but never a penalty for me in terms of a natural position. The arms are down. Even if it does hit a hand, it's not a penalty because of the ferocity of the shot.
Coventry under pressure, and Rushworth making the first notable save of the evening, and we're almost at the midway point of the first half already. This opening period has absolutely whizzed by here at the Racecourse Ground. Here's Sakamoto. Left-footed ball swung in. Oh, he's trying to find Mason Clark on the arrival. And what a finish from Efren Mason Clark. And so simple from Coventry City. The ball in from Sakamoto. And Efren Mason Clark arriving from nowhere. He just guides the ball beyond Okonkwo and into the bottom corner. As easy as that for Coventry City. They've soaked up the pressure and they've caught them on the break. Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1.
The ball is exquisite. It had to go in the back of the net, because if you put a ball in like that and it doesn't, you've got every right to go absolutely crazy at your teammates. But that just shows football, doesn't it? 2 unbelievable chances for Wrexham. They managed to put their bodies on the line, Coventry, and then go up the other end and score. But as I say, the ball from Sakamoto was exquisite. And then for Mason Clark, those positions, it's difficult because he's coming across it. He wants to hit it with his right foot, and it's just about making sure you keep your concentration, keep your composure, and get a good connection with it, which he did. Slots it in the back of the net, and as we've said a lot this season, Coventry go 1 up.
Second championship goal of the season for Efren Mason Clark. And it's one of those, isn't it, Corny? As a striker, you could make a mess of that. You really could. But he just seemed to keep his composure and literally didn't try and hit it, did he? He's almost just guided it beyond Okonkwo.
Yeah, it's got to be a pass. You've just got to think about the connection, and I always think that's the hardest thing as a forward, whether it be sort of a through ball or a ball like that. When you've got a long time to watch it and try and think about what you're going to do, your mind can play tricks on you. So it's about making sure you get a good connection, and the rest will finish itself, which it did, and that was wonderful.
Wrexham tried to respond. Ball swung into the box, headed away by Kitchen. It was a nice right-footed delivery from Kabore, and it's out as far as Sheaf, 25 yards out from goal. Rushworth's going to gather that at the edge of his 6-yard area quite comfortably. Just too much height on that for Kiefer Moore.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want from Rushworth as well. Command your area, come out, be cool and composed, and is it? I think for your defence as well, just knowing that your goalkeeper will come and command the area is so important.
35th goal of the season for Coventry City, and so simple, and as we say, completely against the run of play, and that Wrexham had been very much on top in the opening exchanges here. 24 minutes played, Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1. Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, also your home, of course, of the NFL, and we've got more live NFL for you on Sunday. I'll tell you about that in a moment, because Sakamoto here is looking to play another wonderful pass to Kesler Hayden at the edge of the penalty area, and Haji Wright looks to try and get his shot away but couldn't quite manage it. Matty James will clear only as far as Jamie Allen, and Thomas Asante worked really hard against Ben Sheaf to win it back, which he does, and then Bidwell tries to win the ball. Grimes then finds Allen, and now Sakamoto in this right hand side is picking the ball up off the feet of Kesler Hayden. And once more, Allen will find Wolfenden, and now they've got themselves in front. They've got time to just keep the ball, move it around, and just try and wear out some of these Wrexham players as they chase things down. Moore closing down Wolfenden, but he does well and finds Grimes. Grimes to the goal scorer. Mason Clark on that far side, on the charge, on his left foot, maybe on his right, goes left foot, tries to cut it back and wins the corner.
Let's just give Coventry a lift, hasn't it? I don't think they did too much wrong in the first period, but just Wrexham looked a little bit more up for it at times, and then when they create those 2 chances, the crowd gets behind them and probably, like I say, had the better of it. But now Coventry have got that goal. It's going to be so hard to keep them at bay. Now they've got the confidence, now they're looking a bit more combative in midfield again.
Yeah, they are. That unbeaten record giving this side plenty of confidence. Wrexham, well, what can it do to a side who feels they should be in front, and then all of a sudden they find themselves behind as Grimes swings that one in. That's headed, and Okonkwo has to try and palm it away. I think, if anything, that may have been off a Wrexham head in the first place. There was a body of players that went up around the penalty spot, and it will be another corner, this time on this right-hand side, but again Grimes will go across, and this will be a left-footed in-swinger.
And they're making it really difficult for the goalkeeper, Coventry, because got 2 players around Okonkwo at the minute. As the ball comes in as well, they all rush that 6-yard box. So many bodies in and about, and they're all fighting for space.
Grimes will deliver. Some of the numbers on Grimes this season in terms of recoveries and the pass before the pass that assists the goal are quite extraordinary. This time he's going to try and deliver with a corner, headed out for what will be another corner. Well defending on this occasion. I think Dom Hyam then was the player who got forward. He was marking Wolfenden, who was the original target. Obviously, Bobby Thomas is always the target for Coventry City, but with him not in the side tonight, Kitching and Wolfenden, you feel, will be the two men who they'll be trying to look out for. Grimes this one towards that back post. It does just go over Wolfenden. Tried to work it back goalwards that time from the edge of the box. And now a counter maybe on here. Kiefer Moore has it. Lewis O'Brien's chasing after it, but the pass was wayward from Kiefer Moore. And Rushworth on that far side will just do a little feint. Oh, and he gives the ball just about that time to Kesler Hayden. And I'm sure Frank Lampard had his heart in his mouth for a moment there, like most of the Coventry fans away to our right-hand side did. But in the end, they try and break forward, and the offside flag goes up against the goal scorer, Mason Clark.
Yeah, there's always something that does raise your heart rate when a goalkeeper comes out and does a Cruyff outside of the 18-yard box, but cool as you like, gets away with it. And then it's the second phase of the pass as well. He just passes it forward into midfield. It's like, yeah, I've got it covered.
So as I mentioned, home of the NFL as well, of course, here on Talksport 2. Sunday, we've got the San Francisco 49ers at the New York Giants. That's from 6 o'clock. 9:25, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Las Vegas Raiders. And then in the wee small hours of Monday morning at about 12:20, the Seattle Seahawks are at the Washington Commanders. So 3 cracking live games of NFL for you on Sunday right here on Talksport 2. 28 minutes played. Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1. EFL Game Day Live, of course. And in field we go to O'Brien. O'Brien just keeps it for Wrexham as they try and find their way back into this game. Windass has got away down the right-hand side. Wolfenden wanted the offside flag to go up. He wasn't offside. It was Wolfenden that was playing him on, and it's half cleared, and now eventually Grimes will get it away through the centre circle. Hyam's there, and he'll nod it to Okonkwo under pressure from Thomas Asante.
Yeah, he actually does well, Hyam, because I was worried initially that he let the ball bounce, and I just thought this could spell a little bit of danger. Thomas Asante on his back, but defends it well in the end. But I think Windass is playing well. He's getting in some good areas, but that end product into the box just isn't there, whether it be himself. O'Brien's got down there as well, but needs to be better service for Kiefer Moore.
Yeah, that's been the issue so far, hasn't it? You're right, they're getting to very good positions, but the delivery not quite what it needs to be. And in contrast, one really good attack from Coventry City with a perfect delivery into the box, and we have a goal on our hands. Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1. Okonkwo back in the edge of his own penalty area, away to our right-hand side. A couple of clean sheets for him this season against Millwall and Oxford. Oxford, of course, was a victory here by a 0-0, their first home league win of the campaign. That came just 9 days ago, and they'll be desperate to try and build on that for sure. 5 points off the bottom 3 and 5 points away from the playoffs, so fairly central position right now for Phil Parkinson's side. He's won 4 and he's lost 4 of the games he's managed against Coventry in the past. He did lead Colchester to an FA Cup 4th round win against Coventry back in 2004. And toe-to-toe, of course, with Frank Lampard tonight for only the 3rd time. Mason Clark on that far side, towards the edge of the penalty area. Just lays the ball back once more. Bidwell now will swing a ball in. Haji Wright goes up for it. Okonkwo is there to punch away. Kesler Hayden just wins that first header. Then Jamie Allen picks up the loose ball, and no real pressure coming from the Wrexham players. And that's the thing at the moment. Coventry are first to those second balls every time.
Yeah, they're struggling on the second phase, Wrexham. And there was when they created those couple of chances, actually when they got to the ball first. But you see, Coventry are the ones on the front foot, and whether it's better anticipation or just energy, they're getting there first.
Kesler Hayden's ball in is won by, well, I thought Mason Clark, but the offside flag was up anyway as he heads it over the crossbar. And there are a few things here for Phil Parkinson to work out. 14 minutes to go to half-time, trailing by a 0-0 against the league leaders, of course.
It's quite interesting. Lewis O'Brien is dropped a little bit deeper. I think for me, he spent too long, almost as part as a forward 3, and it's allowed Coventry to then dictate a bit more in the midfield. I think he needs to get his timings better to be able to add the body to the midfield, and then when it goes forward, the transition of where you find yourself in the attacking sense, because so far he's not got it right.
Cabot around that far side finds Windass. Windass pinging a ball out to this left-hand side. Kakache is there. Takes the ball down nicely, gets the better of Kesler Hayden, but Kesler Hayden's back at him. Kakache keeps the ball nicely. Finds Ben Sheaf. There's Matty James. He's encouraging to bring Dom Hyam in, who's on halfway on this left-hand side. But O'Brien here on this left-hand touchline. Back into Kakache once more. Wearing the 13 on his back. No superstition from him as Sheaf pushes it wide to that right-hand side. Now Clouth to the far touchline. It's a Kabore. Swings the ball in. It's going to go around the back edge of the penalty area. Kakache now will have a chance to deliver a ball in, and the header is good from Wolfenden at the near post, and he puts it into touch on this near side. Throw taken very quickly. Hyam short to Matty James. Wrexham having a good spell here, shifting the ball from left to right. Clouth now on that far side. He's got the support of Sheaf inside, and Sheaf will just go across the back to Hyam. I talked about Sheaf's appearances, Hyam as well. 192 appearances for Coventry, 9 goals in his time as well. And then obviously moved off to Blackburn, where he failed to beat Coventry in any one of his 6 appearances there. And there's a foul on the free kick. Good decision by the referee, just waited a moment, but Lewis O'Brien certainly was upended midway inside the Coventry half, and it's a free kick for Wrexham.
And the referee did the right thing, in all fairness. It was just waiting to see if there was any advantage for Wrexham, which there's not. So another good opportunity. If we mention, their prowess from set pieces, so they'd definitely rather have the free kick.
12 minutes to go to half time. Wrexham trailing by a goal to nil. Second championship goal of the season for Ephraim Mason-Clark, the former Peterborough man. They've got some defending to do here, Coventry, right on the edge of their penalty area. Matty James is going to swing this in. Clouth is coming round the back. Hyam's in there. Scarra's gone forward too. His first championship start of the season. I wonder if he can notch his first championship goal. James is in, comes towards Hyam. There's a pull there on Mason-Clark, very obvious from Clouth. I think he almost pulled his arm out of his socket. Remember when you used to do it with Action Man, you could pull their arm off. I think that's what he was trying to do then.
It's ridiculous because as well the reaction to the referees is to say, why is that a free kick? Like, it's just stupid in that area when you're struggling to get forward. It's naivety, just keep it in the area, because he was going absolutely nowhere. But I say that, you just get caught in the moment as a player.
Yeah, reminder, the FA Cup first round is underway tonight. Luton are leading Forest Green Rovers by 2-0, and we've got live action for you from the FA Cup tomorrow tea time here on Talksport 2 at 5:30. Brackley Town against Notts County. You have to love it when we go visiting places like Brackley Town. Mike McCarthy and the former QPR striker Charlie Austin will bring you that one. Oh, that's a lovely ball through to Windass. The offside flag goes up. Around us there's waves of arms in derision, but you were right in line with that.
Yeah, he's off. He just goes that little bit too early. I don't think the fans behind me agree, mine.
No, it's okay. I'll smuggle you out alive. Not a problem. Kessler Hayden swings the ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Hadji Wright's there, and Okonkwo will come and gather. He was well shepherded that time by Clouth. Hadji Wright's been in decent form away from home. 3 goals in his last 2 away games, but not really had an opportunity yet for Coventry City, who lead here by a 0 with 10 minutes to go to half time. Issa Kabore on the charge on that right hand side. Maybe he's just run out of space there as Bidwell will intervene and put it out for a throw. Level with the edge of the penalty area on that far side. Kabore is going to take it, I think. Just waiting for a little movement. Sheaf drops in short. A couple of bounces of the ball on that far side, and in the end it is Sheaf, but his pass is very much under hit and quite loopy, and in the end it's picked up just over halfway once more for Wrexham. Into the feet of Windass. Sheaf to the right hand side. Now Kabore, left-footed ball swung over towards Keitha Moore, comes out. Kakache on this near side, and he chested it down nicely, but he was always slicing that left-footed volley over the crossbar.
Yeah, it's a difficult chance, but he keeps getting in there, Kakache, and they need to make a decision, Coventry, in terms of who picks that player up. I think it's Sakamoto, because when you think, I mentioned earlier, in terms of how Lewis O'Brien is getting higher, so they've already got 3 to deal with, so that's the point where Sakamoto, you've got to work hard and come and help your fullback out.
Long ball punted forward by Rushworth this time. Sakamoto has got a lovely goal against Watford at the weekend. Oh, there's space here on this right hand side for Kessler Hayden, level with the edge of the penalty area. Now inside the box, looking to take his man on. Gets the ball across the 6-yard area, but it's blocked at the edge of that box. Now Grimes will drive forward. Opens up for Grimes, who hits a shot. Good block inside the area again from Wrexham. Up in the air for Kessler Hayden to try and win the header, which he does, but he puts it into touch, and Wrexham will have the throw. Yeah, it's interesting looking at the stats. Coventry only just edging the possession, aren't they? And they've actually had more shots than Wrexham have, really. But touches in the opposition penalty area, very much Wrexham is in their favour right now.
The fact we've hardly spoke about Hadji Wright, it's testament to, at times, how well that Wrexham have defended and kept him quiet. And the problem is they've got so many other attacking talents in this side that someone will always pop up with a goal, and that's one of the good things about Coventry as well. They've got goals all over the pitch. They're not too reliant on a certain player.
Well, Sakamoto scored a couple in his last 3 games, but he just seems to have a new lease of life. That assist was very good for the goal scored by Mason Clark, and again he was teasing there on the right hand side before passing the baton over to the left and Jamie Allen, and now to Kitching, who's going to go back to Rushworth in his goal away to our left hand side. 7.5 minutes to go to half time. Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1. That's forward for Mason Clark to try and run onto, and he's just got the other side of Cleworth on that far side, and he's kept the ball alive. Maybe a little bit of tug of the shirt there from Cleworth, but still got the ball at his feet has Mason Clark. Right-footed ball just clipped up in the air towards Sakamoto, one of the smallest players on the pitch on this near side, and that's going to run out of play away to our right-hand side. Interesting talking to Frank Lampard after the game against Watford last week, because obviously it was 3-0 at half-time. Watford were reduced to 10 men just before the break. And I said to him, were you frustrated that you didn't go on? And he said, actually, I wanted us just to be professional and see the game out and not make mistakes and just win. I was happy with 3, which I thought was quite interesting, because obviously in other games they've scored 7,
yeah,
5,
exactly.
Had a field day, but it's almost like when they're in this position now, they're just feeling the pressure a little bit more. They're now the hunted, aren't they? As forward comes Sheaf down that right hand side for Wrexham. Kabore gets the ball into the penalty area, but Jamie Allen's there to volley away.
Yeah, like you say, now when you're top of the table, you've not lost. Everyone's waiting for that game. Everyone's waiting to be the team to say we ended Coventry's unbeaten run. So I think there's an element to that, which I understand, obviously, especially when it's 3-0 at 2. I don't think it's right to sort of sit back, and we've seen them really push in other games, but 3-0 gives you a relative comfort, and it also gives Frank Lampard the ability to change personnel to keep everyone fit, so it's always a nice position to be in.
When we talk about ending a run, it's Chris Wilder's Sheffield United who are at the CBS Arena on Tuesday night. There'll be a man who will fancy trying to end someone's unbeaten run, that's for sure. Cleworth down that right hand side finds Kabore. Whether Sheffield United can do it or not, that's a slightly different matter. O'Brien at the edge of the penalty area, just can't do anything with it apart from give it back to Matty James. Now he can fire a shot, but Rushworth's got his body in behind that, in front of his left hand post, and makes a very comfortable save.
Yeah, you'd be disappointed if Rushworth let that one bobble past him.
Sakamoto does well to hold that up. I think he was caught late, and the referee again just allowed play to continue to see if Thomas Asante on halfway could do anything with it. He couldn't, and the free kick is called.
It's so frustrating to play against Coventry because they're so adaptable, because you see Rushworth there, bowls it out, flat as you like into Sakamoto's feet, who's probably about 5 yards in from the halfway line. Other times they wait and they play out from the back, or then they go even longer. You just don't know what's coming with them.
And it's interesting because they don't play many long passes, but they will do when they need to.
Yeah,
and I think he's about the long throws as well. He's mixed it up, hasn't he?
Yeah, they're quite happy to, and why not? Especially when you've got the pace that they've got in forward line. So, if, for example, Wrexham do get a bit brave, and I think I saw this against Portsmouth, where then the back line wants to push up really high. They've got the ability just to go over the top and go route one, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Bidwell gives it to Kitching, or Kitching's given that away to Sheaf on halfway, and he will now try and bring Wrexham forward. Kabore on that far side and trying to work hard with the foul again this time. There is Mason Clark. Thought he'd won the ball that time, but Lewis O'Brien had gone down, and the referee gives the free kick to Wrexham about 15 yards inside the Coventry City half. About 4 minutes to go in this first half. Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1, and Wrexham have been knocking on the door, a bit like all the people at my house tonight when I'm not there. But no sweeties given out yet by the Coventry defence, that's for sure. It's because there's no pumpkins, but there's some flashing orange lights away to our left-hand side, which are illuminating the night sky. Sheaf down the line,
what is that?
Straight to the feet of Thomas Asante, who's got the confidence at the moment then to try and beat Okonkwo from, about 15 yards inside his own half. I think Liam Kitchen has just turned around and said to him, "What are you doing?" But he saw the moment and he's full of confidence, isn't he? Oh, that one's over the top for keeper Moore here, who's onside, and his first touch at the edge of the penalty area as he tried to take it down was, I mean, they're applauding around us. I would say that first touch was nothing but awful, really. But
it comes off his shin. He should do better with it. He's probably in a point where I think, I can't believe my luck. The flag's not gone up. Probably thinking in the back of his head, actually, am I offside? But at that point, you can't do that. Get the ball down, put the ball in the back of the net, and then if the flag goes up later, that's fine.
Kakache trying to win that hard, and they've got the better of Kesler Hayden this time. And now O'Brien on this left-hand side, low ball across the penalty area. He's dealt with a deflection and away by Kesler Hayden up towards Haji Wright. But again, no change for Haji Wright coming from Dan Scarr this time. And Dom Hyam out wide on this left-hand side will pick up the ball for Wrexham once more. 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. Coventry leading by a goal to nil. A little turn in the middle apart from Sheaf, and he's lost possession this time though to the goal scorer Mason Clark, who's on the charge down that left-hand side with pace. Sheaf takes him down, and surely that's going to be the first yellow card of the game.
Yeah, has to be. He's driving forward, Mason Clark about to drive into the box, and it's a foul. I think Sheaf will feel that he has to make.
Yeah, yellow card against his former side for Ben Sheaf. And it's going to be a free kick for Coventry. It's probably about 5 yards, maybe 7 yards outside the penalty area. It's quite tricky to judge distances from where we are here, but it's certainly 3 or 4 yards in from the edge of the penalty area. So it's going to suit the right foot, maybe. Grimes is thinking about curling it away, potentially. Kesler Hayden is the only one who's back, but you get the feeling that Haji Wright this time has said, well, you had the last one, Matt. This one's mine. The American international scored while away on international duty as well, so he's in a rich vein of form, but he's a goal behind his teammate Thomas Asante at the top of the goal-scoring charts in the Championship. He's going to try and do something about it now with this free kick. Right footed straight into the wall, and that's been taken right in the face. And is it Matty James, maybe? Can't really see. Could be Matty James who's taken that one flush, and no wonder Elliot Bell's in there and immediately. No, he doesn't need any treatment. He's up and about. No, it was Cleworth actually who took that. It was struck with some venom from Haji Wright from 10 yards away.
He looked like a boxer on the ropes for a second. He couldn't quite find his legs.
Well, talking of boxing, we've got boxing tomorrow night. Thanks for the C up there, Corny. Joshua Buatsi and Zach Parker. The fight's in Manchester. Undercard starts from 7:30 tomorrow night here on Talksport 2. Bidwell trying to work it into the penalty area. Mason Clark's there, tries to spin and get it to him once more, and then works incredibly hard to keep the ball. Then gets it back from Jamie Allen. Sakamoto clips it on with the outside of his right boot. He's caught late again, Sakamoto. And that's going to be a free kick. And, well, was it Sheaf who made that challenge? I mean, that could be dangerous for him having been booked moments ago. If it was Sheaf who got the touch, but definitely Sakamoto that was left on him.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm not sure why Wrexham players are arguing. It's probably because the ball's gone, but the ball's 5 yard gone and there's a connection been made, so it's certainly a foul, there's no doubt about that, and it's in a fantastic position. Looks to be smack bang in the middle of the goal.
And two more protagonists have come to say they want to say this time. So Liam Kitchen has had his say, and I think Thomas Asante has said to Grimes, right, you've had a go.
Yeah.
Haji Wright, you've had a go.
My turn now, lads.
I am the leading scorer. Let me have a pop. So it is central. It is probably about 27 yards out, maybe 28 yards out from goal. In the middle. And it's Brandon Thomas Asante. 7 goals in his last 6 appearances. His 250th Senior League game tonight. And a chance to double the advantage in the minute of added time at the end of this first half, which we've almost had, to be fair. We are 54 seconds into it. So you feel this will probably be the last action of the half. Thomas Asante from 25 yards, and it's dipped, but it's dipped after it's gone over the crossbar, and that will be a goal kick for Wrexham.
Yeah, not quick enough, went for the Cristiano Ronaldo knuckleball type technique and just doesn't dip quickly enough to get that second goal.
we may have found the weakness in Coventry City, that without Torp on the field, the free kick takers aren't quite up to scratch. I think Radoni probably hits a decent free kick as well, as Okonkwo puts the ball into the air, and Elliot Bell, the referee, says that's enough at the end of the first half. And well, after a terrific start by Wrexham, they really got caught by a sucker punch. A wonderful floated ball into the penalty area by Tatsushiro Sakamoto, took everybody out the game, and it landed at the foot of Ephraim Mason-Clark, who just guided the ball beyond Okonkwo to give Coventry the lead. Really good save from Rushworth. He managed to keep Coventry's goal intact away to our left-hand side. He's probably been the busier of the two keepers, if anything. And Wrexham will take heart from the fact that they had a good opening 45 minutes. However, the one real opportunity of the game that came Coventry City's way, and no surprise, the unbeaten league leaders have pounced. Half-time here, Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1.
Well, the stats suggest a fairly even contest. 50% possession each. Expected goals 0.82 for Coventry, 0.61 for Wrexham. Cov have had 10 shots. Wrexham 7 shots, 3 shots on target, only 2 shots on target for Coventry. So yeah, a very even first half encounter, Courtney, and one that I think both sides will feel maybe a little bit disappointed in that they could have played much better.
Yeah, I totally agree, and sort of the stats, you're right, are very even, but I think when you then start to look at some key ones, because the sort of the touches in the up box and that sort of stuff, actually Wrexham are doing better in the passes into the final third, but then when you look sort of a bit further into it, and the accuracy of the passing in the final third particularly, and the big chances, I think that's where you've seen Coventry have just been that little bit better. They've been more accurate in the key areas and been more clinical. But you're right, I think for the amount of opportunities that Wrexham have had, they'll be disappointed they're not at least level. And there's something with Coventry, yes, they're 1-0 up, so they'll be happy about that, but actually the level of performance isn't probably to the level that we've seen or Frank Lampard will have wanted in some aspects. So there's definitely room to grow in this game for both sides, but Coventry, obviously, they're happier going in 1-0 up.
As you mentioned, Wrexham paid for not taking their chances. Again, it feels like a familiar story, and it was Ephraim Mason-Clark with the second of the campaign. You mentioned really well taken, but there was a beautiful pass to set it up from Tatsuhiro Sakamoto as well. Yeah,
it was exquisite. It's the type of ball as a forward that your eyes light up as soon as it leaves your teammate's foot, and it's not to take away though from the finish as well, because it's a difficult one. He had a lot of time, Mason-Clark, to watch it, bring it down on his foot. He knows obviously he's got the defender close to him as well, and that you could quite easily get a bit too caught up in the moment and get that wrong, but just make sure that he gets the right connection on it to put it in the back of the net. So yeah, very good finish from him, but the ball specifically was absolutely brilliant.
Has the goal taken the sting out of Wrexham a little bit? And what more do we need to see from Coventry?
Yeah, I think so. It has taken this thing out, because you felt it in the stadium. Everyone was lifting. They were having more opportunities on goal. Rushworth's had to make the save of the game for me, where he makes it with his foot, and then sort of 90 seconds later, maybe less than that, they're 1-0 down, and everyone's looking at each other in the crowd and on the pitch and thinking, well, how has that happened? So I think for Coventry, there just needs to be that little bit more energy in tempo in the final third with the passing, because when they do that, Coventry, for me, that they look fantastic. Not just less so today, but I mean in general when I've watched them, and purposeful with that, and get Hadji Wright into the game a little bit more, actually, because he's been relatively quiet. For me, for Wrexham, the midfield balance, I mentioned it, was all off, and we spoke about it before the game, didn't we, in terms of Lewis O'Brien. For me, it's his time of his running, his arrival. So when they're in the build-up phase, Wrexham, he's almost as one of the front three, which then they're completely underloaded in the midfield, Wrexham. So as it went later on, and actually when Wrexham were having more chances, he started in the midfield and then he joined later. So I think that's what they need to rectify to get back into this game, Wrexham.
Work for both to do. We'll be back with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk discussing Liverpool, a big game for them in the Premier League tomorrow, but we'll be back with Adam Bridge and Courtney very shortly for a big second half at the racecourse. As it stands, Ephraim Mason-Clark's goal is taking the Sky Blues 6 points clear at the top of the Championship. Second half to come. Stay with us.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the English Football League.
When's the perfect moment to take that leap? With electric vehicles, that moment is now. The all-electric Leap Motor T03. Right now, with the Leap grant, it's incredible value at 169 deposit and 169 per month with 0% APR, with amazing tech and spec too. Leap Motor. It's time to leap. Search Leap Motor T03. Personal contract purchase, mint green, T03, 48 months, optional final payment 5675, Leap Motorist credit broker, not in lender, subject to status, T's and C's still out as financial services.
If you had a vehicle that was written off since 2020, you could be owed thousands in compensation. Major insurance providers may have paid their customers lower payouts, like Admiral, who've already set aside £50 million to pay them back. Thousands of drivers across the UK may have been affected, and the watchdog estimates £129 million has already been paid out. Check now if you could have a claim. Text CHECK to 66886. That's CHECK to 66886 now. Allegiant Finance Services is a claims management company. Claims can be made for free via the Financial Ombudsman. T's and C's apply.
It's your shot at a maximum break with Johnston's Trade Paints. Win one of 147 prizes, including a luxury holiday worth £10,000. Every purchase of 5-litre Cover Plus vinyl mat gives you a chance to pot a prize. Cover Plus now goes even further than before. Available at your local Johnston's Decorating Centre or partner stockist nationwide. Terms and conditions apply. See online for details.
No one sees your small business like you do. The feeling when that unexpected big contract comes in. The butterflies. But that's the exciting bit of it being your business. And you wouldn't have it any other way. So breathe it all in. When your business is your life, we exist to help you live. Search O2 Business.
In 2024, a hangry fan posted, "Why do other countries have better McDonald's menus than ours?" So, we went abroad and heisted some worldwide favourites. The World Menu Heist. 9 of the most wanted McDonald's menu items from around the world. Now in the UK. Until 25th of November from 11 a.m. Fees apply to delivery orders. Price and participation may vary, subject to availability.
Co-op members now get prices matched to Aldi. Hold on. No way. Okay then, so Co-op members now get everyday essentials price matched to Aldi. So sign up and start saving. Co-op. Owned by you, right by you.
Wasn't expecting that.
Co-op member prices matched versus comparable products at Aldi GB. Co-op membership required. Co-op group food stores only. See co.co.uk/Aldi price match.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
It's a Saturday night FA Cup screamer on Talksport. Boom! Calibrate. Go up against Nosferatu County.
Bat out of hell, full match commentary from 5:30.
It's a spider web of spirited Saturday night FA Cup football on Talksport 2.
Hard-hitting football coverage on DAB+, online, via the Talksport app and on your smart speaker.
An absolutely magnificent effort!
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
Well, Coventry City lead Wrexham away by 1-0. They're halfway towards extending their lead at the top of the Championship to 6 points. It has, though, been a very even contest, maybe even lacking in a little bit of intensity. You imagine at the break, both managers will be looking to light a fire under their players ahead of the second half, which is coming up live here on Talksport 2. They're already well into the second half in the FA Cup game at Kenilworth Road, and it's just about game on. Let's get the latest on how it's all been going from Ian Abrahams.
Luton 3, Forest Green Rovers 2.
We're going to go back to Ian in a second. Maybe he can hear us, maybe he can't. I think we just got the scoreline there. Luton had raced into a 3-0 lead. That was about 5 or so minutes ago. Forest Green look like they have just scored their second from the penalty spot, having brought one back a few minutes earlier, a deflected effort. We will get the details from Ian Abrahams very, very shortly. What that means, though, is it is absolutely game on at Kenilworth Road. And the Moose can join us with the details. Ian.
Luton 3, Forest Green Rovers 2. The League One side had this absolutely wrapped up, Hugh. They led initially through Fame's goal into the top corner, set up by Richards midway through the first half, quickly followed by a Naki Wells goal after a Bramall free kick had been allowed by the goalkeeper to squirm out of his grasp and tapped into the back of the net. 3-0 in the second half. Fame this time lifted the ball over the goalkeeper left-hand side for another tap in for Naki Wells, but suddenly
back have come Forest Green Rovers through substitutes. Tom Knowles curling one in to the corner. It did take a deflection though of Ted and Mengi, and then Whitwell was brought down inside the penalty area, and Kyle McAllister has filed the spot kick home. 21 minutes to go. League One Luton managed by Jack Wilshere 3. Non-league Forest Green Rovers managed by Robbie Savage, who's looking very happy with himself now. 3-2. Game on.
Fantastic FA Cup tie on our hands, and I think Robbie Savage has just been giving it back a little bit to some of the Luton fans who are maybe getting to him with the 3-0 scoreline. Certainly game on, as I mentioned, all part of a very busy weekend. We've got live EFL football. We've also got live FA Cup first round action for you. 5:30 tomorrow. Brackley against Notts County. Mike McCarthy and former QPR striker Charlie Austin are your commentary team for that one. And we've got a big game in the Premier League as well. Our 8 p.m. exclusive on Talksport tomorrow. Is it panic time for Arne Slot and Liverpool?
No title challenge for decades has withstood a run of 4 successive Premier League defeats.
Doing loads of business and it's all over the place. It feels like you're spinning plates with everything, every position.
He's moaning about the squad here now that he hasn't got the strength and depth. Well, that's his fault by spending all that money on.
The drama fast becoming a crisis. Liverpool 0, Palace 3.
They're defending their title. This has been a poor defence.
First of all, we need to be ready for Aston Villa.
And Aston Villa have beaten Manchester City at Villa Park.
The players, they are mature. And they are showing their responsibility.
And then win 4 on the bounce.
You know, everyone around the club worked for Unai Emery, even the sporting directors above him.
Is the end of the crisis in sight? Villa at home here on Saturday is now a game of epic proportion.
Well, let's go back to the racecourse ground to speak to the former Liverpool women's forward, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Massive game for Liverpool after that League Cup exit in midweek at the hands of Crystal Palace, when Arne Slot made a raft of changes, left out all of his big names, claiming that he didn't want to get any more injuries, didn't even put some big names in reserve on the bench, and Julie paid for it with a 3-0 defeat. 6 defeats in 7 games in all competitions. Is this game essentially must win in terms of the title race?
I'll be honest with you, I think the title race has gone. And I know it's early doors, but I really do. Not just, for me, they've got to go now and win every single game they've got left. I don't see that happening. And then the thing with the changes is, if you go and beat Villa and go and beat Real Madrid and go and beat Man City, by the way, how awful are those 3 games going up? Then you've sort of got a leg to stand on, I suppose. But it's a big ask to go and do that. I'll be honest, I didn't see it happening this way. But I did think Liverpool would struggle this season. There's obviously a lot gone on tragically with Jota, but also the amount of changes. I think the difference between this season is, you look at when Arne Slot's come in last season and he's tweaked what's there. I think there's been so many changes, so much money spent. That comes with expectation. You play in a wing back or a right back in Frimpong that you paid 30 odd million for, and instead actually you play in Szoboszlai as your right back and taking him out of the midfield. The midfield struggling massively. So there's a lot to do, and it's not going to get any easier for Liverpool anytime quick.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Arne Slot, what probably should have been his pre-season teething problems, working things out, are very much happening at the wrong time, and that is during the course of the season. And I tend to agree with you. I think the title is probably already gone. Only one time in the last decade has a team won the title, having lost 6 games in the Premier League. That was during the COVID-impacted season. On 2 occasions has a team won the Premier League in the last 10 years after 5 defeats. It generally doesn't happen. They'd have to be perfect from here on out, essentially, and I can't see that happening. Anyway, we're going to find out if it is curtains for Liverpool tomorrow at Anfield. They take on Aston Villa. Talksport exclusive from 8 p.m. on Talksport. Make sure you're with us for that one. We're just moments away from kickoff in the second half here in the EFL on Talksport 2. Wrexham chasing Coventry. They trail by a goal. I'll leave you to the second half with the former Coventry striker, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, and your match commentator, Adam Bridge.
Thanks very much, Hugh. Yeah, both teams out for the second half. Looks like it's as you were at the end of the opening 45 minutes. And as you quite succinctly put, in terms of looking at those stats at half-time, it's probably no surprise it's as you were, because it was a very even opening 45 minutes, and these two sides separated just by that excellent finish from Mason Clark. So Okonkwo's in goal for Wrexham. It's Cleworth, Hyam and Scar at the back. Kabore and Kakache, the two wing-backs. Sheaf and James in central midfield, with Lewis O'Brien just ahead of them, and Kiefer Moore and Josh Windass up top. Rushworth's in goal for Coventry. It's Kessler, Hayden, Wolfenden, Kitching and Bidwell across the back. Grimes and Allen in midfield, with Sakamoto, Thomas Asante and the goal scorer Mason Clark supporting Haji Wright, who is up top. It's a long walk across the pitch here at the racecourse ground. Eventually all the substitutes have made it, and it means Elliot Bell, our referee, is ready to get things underway at the start of this second half. It's Wrexham kicking from left to right in this second 45 minutes in their red shirts, white shorts, red socks, who will get us underway. And no surprise, it's all sky blue for Coventry. And despite putting his whistle to his lips and looking like he was going to blow his whistle, the referee hasn't. Josh Windass has kicked the ball, so it was a full start. So now we'll go again, and this time we are up and running. And it's Dom Hyam, who is predominantly a right footer, but playing the left of the three centre halves today to cover up for the injury to Lewis Brunt and the absence of Callum Doyle. And he just clips the ball off his right foot, but gives possession away immediately to Coventry City down this left-hand side. Mason Clark under a little bit of pressure on this near touch line from Kabore, and the ball goes into touch. And in the end, Kabore did well because he's won the throw for Wrexham midway inside their own half. What do you think Phil Parkinson would have said at half-time, Courtney?
I think you've got to focus actually on some of the positives that happened in that game. In terms of the way that they created opportunities, but you've got to then put them away. And again, I'd be absolutely astonished if he didn't address that midfield balance, because it just didn't feel right for most of that first half for me.
Here's Bidwell, short to Mason Clark on this near side. Throw in this time does go Coventry's way, and it's taken fairly quickly back to Liam Kitching away to our right hand side. And it's picked up by Rushworth inside his own penalty area, and he'll look to clear from the edge of that penalty box. There's plenty of depth on both benches really, and Victor Torp, as we mentioned, is available again today for Coventry City. Ellis Sims, a couple of goals from him already this season. You expect he'll get some time on the pitch tonight for Coventry City, and certainly plenty of options with the likes of Dobson, who started every championship game prior to today amongst the Wrexham substitutes. Plus, of course, and in terms of attacking intent, they've got Sam Smith, Nathan Broadhead and Ryan Hardy as well. So plenty of options when Wrexham need to try and change things up as they go in search of an equalising goal in this game. We've had almost 2 minutes of the second half. Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1. And that Liverpool game, by the way, tomorrow night, of course, 8 o'clock on Talksport. Once we've left here tonight, I'll be heading in that direction. You can join me and Charlie Adam and Natalie Sawyer for that one tomorrow night on Talksport. Very much looking forward to it, although, as I just said to Courtney at half-time, not looking forward to Arne Slot if they do make it 5 defeats in a row. He's usually very lovely, but I think even 5 might try his patience.
Yeah, you're right. He comes across really well, doesn't he, in the dealings I've had with him too, but the stresses of a manager must get to him.
Sakamoto on that far side is pulled back, and it will be a free kick for Coventry City. And this is going to be about 30 yards out from goal, a couple of yards in from the touchline on that far side, and you can't help but be impressed by Sakamoto, signed from Ostend, 2023 of course. He's been in terrific form so far this season for Frank Lampard's side. It's a thorn in the side of many defenders. Matt Grimes is going to swing this in with his left foot. So Mason Clark round the back here. Haji Wright is in a fairly central area. There's a total of 5 sky blue shirts inside the penalty area, and there's about 7 Wrexham shirts there as well to try and defend this set piece. Grimes then will deliver. Referee is happy. Well, no, he's not happy yet. Certainly taking his time about this. A warning, I think, for both sets of players. And Grimes, with his right arm in the air, swings that one in and doesn't beat the first man, who happens to be Ben Sheaf at the edge of the penalty area. Jamie Allen then goes up and wins a header against Josh Windass. That was a slightly unfair contest, but he did okay, Jamie Allen, to be fair. Rushworth with his left boot launches that towards the edge of the penalty area, and the header is won by Mason Clark, and it will be a throw-in on this near side for Wrexham, which Cleworth will take. Cleworth, one of those who started every single championship game for Wrexham so far this season. On halfway, that first header was won by Wolfenden, and now Allen will pick up the loose ball. There is a Wrexham player down, and that is Josh Windass on halfway right now in some discomfort, but Wrexham continue to attack, and they do through Sheaf. Sheaf out to this right-hand side. Here's Kabore on the charge, edge of the penalty area, on his right foot, goes a little bit wide, fires the ball in towards Lewis O'Brien. Half cleared, Kabore gets it out on this near side. Now a chance maybe for Cleworth to drive one, which he does, low, firm and hard with some real power on it, but it's wide of the right-hand post of Rushworth, but a decent effort there from Max Cleworth.
Yeah, I think if that's on target, it's in the back of the net because it struck so extremely well. Straight as an arrow the way it travels. It's just a shame that the direction of travel wasn't quite on target.
Hasn't scored a goal since February, Max Cleworth. He's made 59 clearances for Wrexham so far this season. Been very impressive at the back, hence his ever-present status, but first time he's really had a sight of goal, and it was a really good effort. There's Jamie Allen. Little touch-off from Haji Wright. Thomas Asante. Now is Mason Clark on this left-hand side with a chance to tease Cleworth here. Mason Clark clips it towards the back post. The only one there is Sakamoto. It's going to come out as far as Kesler Hayden at the far edge of the penalty area. And he will just feed the ball back to Wolfenden. Wolfenden down the line to Sakamoto. They want offside, but Sakamoto had just moved into an onside position when he received that. There's Kesler Hayden. Again, they're appealing for the ball to have gone out of play. Sakamoto has it once more. They combine again on that far side, the right-hand side. Considering they've not played together much, these two. Good understanding between them so far this evening in the absence of Milan van Ivik, of course, who's suspended. Little flick on from Haji Wright that time, and that's into the arms of Okonkwo away to our left-hand side.
I mean, they might not get to it, but I would like someone in a Coventry shirt anticipating that. Haji Wright does well. He comes off, so you know what he's going to do. He's going to try and flick it on. Whether it be Thomas Asante or Mason Clark, they need to anticipate that.
Oh, that's a lovely throw ball down that left-hand side. Kakache's on the chase after this one, and he's going to try and come and gather that ball up, far touchline. Left-footed ball is swung over towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Look at the grappling going on inside that box. Liam Kitching and Kiefer Moore are doing something out of Come Dancing, Strictly Come Dancing, that you'd see tomorrow night. And in the meantime, the counter's on. Mason Clark again towards the edge of the penalty area. Mason Clark with a shot. It's well blocked by Cleworth inside the penalty area. Well, everyone too busy looking at the referee asking for a penalty up the other end, and nobody really noticed the fact that Coventry were countering once more. And here they come again. Thomas Asante down this left-hand side. He's closed out by Kabore. Here's Grimes, 30 yards out from goal. Left-footed ball in towards the feet of Mason Clark at the edge of the penalty area. Comes to Jamie Allen on that right-hand side. Ball picked up by Kesler Hayden. And then Wolfenden, who looks to keep it alive with the help of Allen. And they're forced back inside their own half, and I suspect they may think about using Rushworth here. And then Coventry will build again. What did you make of that grappling inside the penalty area?
Yeah, I think it's 6 of one and half a dozen the other bit as the defender. I think you're always taking a risk, but then it's about the attitude towards it afterwards, isn't it? And for Wrexham, they switch off. They're too bothered about arguing with that. And the ball forward is fantastic. Sakamoto, wasn't it? It's just a shame because I think someone was nipping at his heel, so he can't quite get the connection. What's going on here?
Well, Kiefer Moore is certainly getting involved with Liam Kitching. I think it's probably the overspill from the instant inside the penalty area. Elliot Bell, the referee, is certainly calling them over, and I wonder if we're going to see more cards here. Ben Sheaf, the only player so far who's been booked, of course. The crowd showing their support for Kiefer Moore too. And the referee, I think he's called Grimes over too, and now actually just wants the two players, the first of whom will be Liam Kitching and Kiefer Moore, and it will be a talking to, I think, here from Elliot Bell, and maybe nothing more.
I don't know, I feel like he's got a yellow card in his hand. I think he might card them both.
Better eyesight than me. He has got a yellow card. Yeah, I can see it's tucked away, and it is both of them who are carded. Both get a yellow card. Is that just frustration from Kiefer Moore more than anything else?
Yeah, it is. And I did the Carabao game, actually, Chelsea, and I watched Liam Delap do something very similar and get increasingly frustrated and get himself sent off. And it's just stupidity, but it can boil over, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, I had that conversation with Chris Iwelumo during the game on Wednesday night. We were doing it for Talksport on the Talksport app. And when he made that first little push, Chris said, "Oh, is it really a booking?" I said, well, yes, he's going to get booked for pushing somebody, but that may come back to haunt him.
Yeah.
Forget the pun, it's Halloween. Obviously, it wasn't on Wednesday. But it did come back to haunt him with sheer stupidity. But you're right, it's all just born out of frustration, isn't it? Lewis O'Brien now. For Wrexham down that left-hand side is Windass. Decent position to cross, tries to cross, deflects off Jamie Allen, then hits Windass, and then goes out of play for what will be a goal kick away to our right-hand side. And that kind of sums up what happens every time Wrexham get into the final third.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of Coventry finding a way just to snaffle the ball up, but also they've got into the final third, I think, a lot more than Coventry. The stats, at least, that at half-time did show that, but when you get there, what do you do with it? And the ball's in the box. I think they're more hopeful than anything. They're just trying to hit an area rather than be purposeful and find a teammate.
Sakamoto on that far side. He gets away from him that time, does Liberato Kakache. Comes down to Lewis O'Brien on halfway. He's in a real battle royal there with Sakamoto this time, but they keep the ball, Wrexham. Haji Wright then closing in on O'Brien. He's running around a lot, Haji Wright, not seeing too much of the ball and not able to offer much quality, but in a team game, somebody needs to probably do that role, and he's doing it well for Coventry tonight. Right-footed ball forward from Sheaf, down into the far corner, and it was for Kakache to chase after, but it's easily looked after by Kesler Hayden, and as you can hear from the cries around us, I think Wrexham should be putting a little bit more pressure on Carl Rushworth away to our right-hand side.
It's a double-edged sword because at 1-0 you're still in it, and if you press Coventry, they've got the ability to move the ball so quickly. But also, I get it from the fans, that's you want to see your team trying to win the ball back. You know, press high, you get in the game, but I don't think it's quite the time to do it just yet with 10 minutes in the second half gone.
I think it's their 13th game of the season in the Championship tonight, Coventry. They've scored 35 goals in total. 2 of those were 0-0s as well. I think that's worth bearing in mind. I saw them both. There were 2 0-0s, which is hard to believe considering the number of goals that they've notched so far in this campaign. And it's Scar forward to this right-hand side. Kabore's there. Scar being encouraged to run with it by the Wrexham supporters around us. Here's Sheaf. Kabore on this right-hand side. Helps on the way to Matty James. Good challenge from Jake Bidwell, though, although Wrexham do pick up possession again. Nice ball from Sheaf out wide to that left-hand side. Left-footed ball swung into the penalty area, and it was looking to try and find Windass, but it was over his head in the end. And now maybe there's a counter on, and once more it's Mason Clark who's striding forward. He's got Haji Wright ahead of him, left edge of the penalty area. Haji Wright gets the shot away, just curling away from the left-hand post of Okonkwo, who had that well covered.
See, that's the problem as well. So you see Wrexham there commit bodies forward, but Coventry can do both. They can pass through you, or they can go direct and use their pace on the counter-attack. So that's why I understand that they're being a bit tentative initially.
Kabore down the right-hand side. He's in a foot race here with Bidwell. Was he fouled by Bidwell? The assistant says no. And it will be a goal kick for Coventry City. Assistant and referee in harmony, yeah.
It looked like a foul to me. What I will say is, I think in his second half, Kabore is getting a lot higher, which I think is helping his teammate out, as well as Lewis Bryan in that midfield that I mentioned, taking up a little bit of a deeper position initially.
I was going to say they both him and Kakache, both look like they've been pushed on a little more here by Phil Parkinson at half-time. That may have been one of the little tweaks to try and just make more of an impression. Here's Kesler Hayden down the right-hand side. He's got an early chance to cross, but chooses not to. Goes back to Matt Grimes in the composed manner with which Coventry like to build up here. Sakamoto drops in short. Back to Kesler Hayden again on that far side. He now goes forward, striding through, and then Kiefer Moore arrives and puts the challenge on and wins the ball back. But with Kiefer Moore that deep, it means Josh Windass is alone, although Lewis O'Brien arrives now to support him at the edge of the penalty area, onto his left, but O'Brien and Wolfenden does brilliantly. It's excellent defending to clear the ball away, but it's only as far as Kiefer Moore. Now down the right-hand side, Kabore, chance to deliver. Right-footed on the charge into the penalty area, to the byline, cuts it back to the feet of Jamie Allen, who will then run it out the penalty area on this left-hand side, and he'll encourage a foul, but Lewis O'Brien does well and just has the pace to win the ball back for Wrexham.
Well, I must say, I thought Lewis O'Brien did everything right there. Could he get a shot off a little bit earlier? Yes, but it was great defending.
Kakache on the charge into the penalty area, back to Sheaf. Shields the ball from Allen, then left-footed hits the shot, takes a deflection, and Rushworth will gather it inside his 6-yard area. But it's better from Wrexham.
Yeah, lots better. As you've said about Kakache being higher, and certainly Kabore, they look more threatening, but it's still Kabore there. I think it's blind. Sometimes there is that moment where you try and just find the ball into an area, but when it's so congested like that, you have to try and find a teammate. It's just that last little bit for Wrexham that's been lacking.
Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. 59 minutes played. Wrexham 0, Coventry City 1. One of 500 commentaries we're bringing you this season across the Talksport network. Here's Windass inside the box. Keith Moore with the equalising goal for Wrexham from 6 yards out. And his goal drought comes to an end. It's the first goal in 8 games for Keith Moore. It's his 5th of the season. And the league leaders have been pulled back by Wrexham. The ball from Windass was excellent. And Keith Moore surely could have missed from 6 yards out. Wrexham 1, Coventry City 1.
And it was coming. Listen to that noise inside this stadium. They deserve it, Wrexham, on this second half. The way that they've been more adventurous. They've had to take risks. They've pushed Kabore and Kakache forward. But that time it's Windass who gets down that right-hand side, which has been so fruitful in this second half for Wrexham. But then he picks the pass. This isn't a blind ball by just Windass. This is purposeful. Drives it across. And he knows as well, brilliant run by Kiefer Moore. But the ball is such that if Moore misses it, there are other other players in the box that can connect with this. And it's because as well, Wrexham have committed more bodies forward. Well-deserved equaliser.
1 apiece then. We reach the hour mark at the racecourse ground. And it's game on. Kiefer Moore, number 5 for this championship season. And he was asked to step up, and he's answered what his manager asked of him today. First time we've really seen Lampard out, looking agitated from his technical area. Sure, he'll be thinking about the introduction of Victor Torp maybe at some point into that Coventry City midfield. You always thought with the disruption to that back line tonight, there may just be an opportunity for Wrexham. Moore wins the header. Knocks it down this time to Sheaf. Sheaf cuts inside, and I think he ran the ball out of play right in front of the Coventry dugout, and it will be a throw-in on that far side for Coventry City. Really is game on here now. Throw-in on halfway. Kessler Hayden will deliver for Coventry on that far side. Chasing after it is Thomas Asante. I think Frank Lampard will be wanting more from that front line of his. That one goal was good, but really not creating too many opportunities yet in this second half. Sakamoto tries to drill the ball over, wins inside a corner on that far side, the right for Coventry City.
Just looking at the stats for the second half, and although the possession is bang even again in terms of the expected goals, the shots on target, getting inside the box, everything is in Wrexham's favour. So as I mentioned, certainly well deserved for the way they've started this second half.
Well, Coventry have won their last 6, of course, never won 7 successive games in a row in their history. It was the first time last week they'd done it in the same season. As Grimes swings this one across, good header out that time by Dan Scarr. Grimes will get a second chance to deliver here, which he does. Looking for Haji Wright, comes down in the penalty area and almost broke to Wolfenden. And there's 2-on-2 here potentially for Wrexham if they can win the ball. And O'Brien does win it, and then Jamie Allen's there. And I don't think Frank Lampard will be happy leaving a 2-on-2, and immediately turns around to his bench and is looking to make a change. In the meantime, Grimes coming forward for Coventry on that far side. That ball clipped over the top. Kessler Hayden will take it down, and it's picked up at the back for Coventry again. And I think it is Victor Torp who is preparing to come on for Coventry City. Maybe a couple of changes as well.
Yeah, I think that's Ellis Sims taking his bib off as well.
Sakamoto on that far side. Back to Kessler Hayden. On halfway, it's Wolfenden who finds Kitching. Kitching's ball into the feet of Thomas Asante, who's been quite quiet at times tonight, playing in that number 10 role. I suspect if Ellis Sims does come on, we might see Thomas Asante maybe move into a wider area potentially as well, if that change was made. Right, but a ball over the top. And then he goes down at the edge of the box, does Mason Clark. Clewer with a challenge. And the referee says no foul. Cue the boos from the Wrexham fans. Here's Sheaf. Deep inside his own half. On to Windass. Lewis O'Brien lays off to Windass, who's full of running and full of energy. Gives that away, though, to Thomas Asante, who just slips as he tries to get away from Matty James, who does well to win the ball back. And then Sheaf keeps it very simple. Out wide on this right-hand side. Kabore on the charge towards the edge of the penalty area, takes it wide. Now he tries to get the cross, he wins the corner, and Bidwell is the one who puts it behind.
Better decision that time from Kabore. He's been down there quite a few times now, made the wrong decision, but does well. Drives at the defender, gets to the byline and knows he's going to win a corner.
Here comes the corner on this right-hand side. So it's going to be Lewis O'Brien who's going to swing this in with his left foot. Lurking around the edge of that penalty area is Sheaf, and Matty James is there as well. But everyone else, Concertina's inside the 6-yard box, too much on that. And it goes out of play for what will be a goal kick for Coventry City away to our right-hand side. It is Ellis Sims and Victor Torp who are preparing to come on as Frank Lampard looks to make his first changes of the game. Just over 25 minutes remaining here tomorrow afternoon. Leicester against Blackburn is our 12:30 commentary from the EFL. That's followed by Watford against Middlesbrough. That's our 3 o'clock game. And then the FA Cup first round tie between Brackley and Notts County. That is from 5:30, of course. And you're going to be on Game Day Live tomorrow, aren't you, around the grounds with Adrian tomorrow afternoon on Talksport?
Certainly am.
Where are you off to?
Forest versus Manchester United.
Wow.
3 weeks ago, that was meant to be El Sakiko.
It's Windass trying to take that ball off the flick from Keith Moore. Well, in Sean Dyche's case, it might still be. You know how Mr. Marinakis likes to work. Yes, I was listening to an interesting debate on Talksport Drive on the way up today about, you know, what constitutes success, because it's a year for Amorim tomorrow, isn't it? And kind of, I think Andy Goldstein was saying, how would you mark Amorim? And Danny Murphy didn't really give a mark in the end, but he basically said, well, it's not a success yet because they've won 3 games, is it? So
it's not a success until that lad can shave his hair. What's that, 5
well,
on the bounce?
Well, I think qualifying for Europe probably might be deemed a success, because I think last season finishing just above Tottenham would be deemed as a fair disaster, really, in most people's book, considering how bad that season was. Sakamoto, Thomas Asante just tries to lay it off to the feet of Haji Wright at the edge of the penalty area, but Adrian will be with Courtney and Troy Deeney and others tomorrow afternoon. Matt Murray, I think, is part of the team too, and that's all from 1 o'clock tomorrow on Talksport. Early start, 1 o'clock for Around the Grounds tomorrow afternoon, while we bring you the live championship football here on Talksport 2. Thomas Asante towards the corner flag, and he's been penalised for a foul on Kakache. He can't quite believe it. The assistant was the one who waved his flag, and here comes the double substitution for Coventry City. I suspect we might see Haji Wright going off, yeah. He's not really figured too much in the game, but Ellis Sims is coming on, able replacement.
Yeah, it's been a strange one for Haji Wright, because I don't think he's necessarily done too much wrong, but he's just not been that influential figure in the game that he normally is.
And Brandon Thomas Asante is coming off as well, and Victor Torp is going on. So 17 goals between them, but it doesn't stop them getting hooked on a Friday night in Wrexham.
I know, and that's what you want, though. When you see that in the dressing room, when you know that no one's safe, actually that breeds a trust in the manager and a willingness to want to come on and prove a point, to know that if I come on and I perform well, then no one's untouchable in this squad, and that's how it should be.
So Victor Torp will drop into that 10 role. Sims will obviously go up front, and it means Mason Clark will stay out on this near side. 10,617 are in tonight. 1,200 of those Coventry City fans who made their way through what I understand was some fairly dreadful traffic on the M6, heading up towards the journey into North Wales. Kabore down the right-hand side. He's on the charge here for Wrexham. He's going at full pelt at the moment as he puts that ball into the box, and Bidwell is there to head it out, and I think it'll be a throw-in right by the corner flag down this right-hand side. It's probably the one area of the pitch that's quite a challenge for us to have eyes on, because everything is on our way. But it's going to be a throw by Kabore right by the corner flag. Windass is in there short looking for it. Comes to Windass. He tries to lay it off to Kabore. In fact, they just give the ball immediately to Cleworth. Edge of the penalty area is Windass. Windass right for the ball towards the back post. Kiefer Moore with a header! And Kiefer Moore has scored! It's a double for Kiefer Moore on the night. And Wrexham have turned this round. And Coventry City's unbeaten championship record is now well and truly on the line. It's Kiefer Moore at the double. And it's Wrexham 2, Coventry City 1.
Well, the ball in is brilliant. It's got all the pace on it to make sure that then Kiefer Moore at this point, he's just got to make sure he plants it on target. I will be honest, I mean, it's hard for us to see from here the angle we're at, but it seems to square minute the near post, and you always question a keeper when it comes in at the near post, because he's having to come off Kiefer Moore, adjust his feet and his body, and he's almost going backwards as he head this, which takes the power off it. But look, take nothing away from the finish and the way that Wrexham played in the second half. They probably do deserve that second goal, but I think Rushworth will be disappointed with that.
Well. Questions being asked of Frank Lampard's league leaders right now. The rest of the championship is sitting up and taking note as things stand. Keith Moore with his second goal of the night, and Wrexham have turned this one round. Wrexham 2, Coventry City 1. Free kick for Wrexham, just outside their own penalty area. It's finished, by the way, in the FA Cup tie tonight. Luton 4, Forest Green Rovers 3. A real cracker, but Jack Wilshere gets one over Robbie Savage. And Forest Green actually had a real opportunity to make it 4-4 as well. That's a game that would have been, given that Luton were 3 up early in the second half as well. Hopefully tomorrow when we bring you Brackley Town against Notts County, it will be as good come 5:30 here on Talksport 2. The FA Cup is back, first round action. What a way to start it tonight with Luton and Forest Green Rovers in a 7-goal thriller. A 3-goal thriller here so far, and maybe there is more to come from this game as we get into the last 20 minutes. Wrexham 2, Coventry City 1. It's Keith Moore doing the damage against the league leaders, and the one thing as well now, Courtney, the crowd are up. At times in the first half they were a bit subdued after falling behind in the manner they did, but now you can't shut them up.
No, you can't, and they fully deserve that moment. Just looking at Coventry and I'm thinking, taking 17 goals off this pitch and then you go and concede very, very quickly after that. I mean, I said it was a brave decision from Frank Lampard, and it might help the squad, but would you take both of them off at the same time? I mean, I could be proved wrong, but it just seems like a big decision to make at that moment.
Here's Torp down this left-hand side. Victor Torp, little shove as he tried to get round Cleworth and Sheaf in the end. Bidwell into Grimes, down the line. Here's Torp, left-footed ball across. We're going to find Ellis Sims, who wins the header, but it just balloons up in the air and is comfortably gathered by Okonkwo. Away to our left-hand side. I can understand why I think Mason Clark's probably looked more of a threat than Thomas Asante tonight, and that's usually where he looks to make that first change. And Mason Clark with a foul on Kabore on halfway here, and there's another double change being prepared. I suspect De Silva and maybe Josh Eccles will be the players that come on, but there's certainly 2 more substitutes about to enter the fray.
I think the threats we normally see from the fullback areas, especially from Coventry, it's definitely not been as prevalent tonight.
Right-footed ball, Cleworth into the box. Moore's trying to get there for a potential header on target, but it's over his head. Rushworth will gather, and it'll be a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Yeah, definitely 2 substitutes being prepared right now on that far side by Frank Lampard, and I think Wrexham preparing to make a change as well. I think we might be seeing Sam Smith at some point. Header won that time by Scarr, who's done very well his first championship start of the season, Dan Scarr, but has performed valiantly. Mason Clark sprawls to the ground trying to win that ball back of Cleworth. Almost a back pass to Okonkwo that got pounced on by Ellis Sims. It'll be a throw down this left-hand side, which Torp's going to leave for Bidwell, level with the edge of the penalty area, but they're going to make the change first here. Not sure which of the 2 the change will be made in favour of. Let's see. And it's Sheaf who's actually coming off to be replaced by George Dobson. So again, managing Ben Sheaf's time, the former Coventry City man, and a standing ovation from the Wrexham supporters, and no surprise really, he's been excellent. Keeps it simple, but at times I think that's what you need.
Yeah, exactly, and when you've got the forwards on the pitch, and as I mentioned, O'Brien driving from midfield, which has looked better in this second half, you always need then your midfielders behind that to be solid and do the basics well, and I think that's something that Sheaf always does.
We are going to see the departure of Jamie Allen, and Jay De Silva is coming on for Bidwell, and it's going to see, there's Josh Eccles, I think, that's entered the fray into that midfield in place of Jamie Allen. It may mean Torp potentially drops back into the more central midfield, with Eccles taking on the number 10 role, but we'll see how that pans out. And De Silva immediately comes across to take the throw on this left-hand side. So 16 minutes left for Coventry City to try and keep their unbeaten record intact here. They trail 2-1. Here's De Silva. Up the line, Torp tries to turn, but there's 2 there immediately. And it's Dobson straight on and into the action. And it'll be a throw down this right-hand side for Wrexham, 10 yards outside their own penalty area. Cleworth has it, and it'll be Cleworth who will launch it forward down this near touchline. And it's flicked on, that time by Kitching, and into touch for another throw to Wrexham, now midway inside the Coventry City half. And it's going to be left again for Cleworth. Can Wrexham, who've dropped 11 points from winning positions this season, can they keep hold of them here? They lead 2-1. Looking for that second home win of this championship campaign. Scar's giving it away to Grimes. Now a chance for Grimes to drive forward. O'Brien's back at him. Mason Clark's got a little bit of room on this near side. He's on the charge inside the penalty area. On his right foot, gives it back to Grimes at the edge of the box. Now De Silva up around the edge of the penalty area. And now Grimes will lift the ball in towards that back post. Kessler Hayden's there. Sakamoto's there, but it's cleared as far as Wolfenden. Wolfenden back into the danger zone. And there's a foul there, is there? Yes. And a free kick. So that challenge penalised by the referee. O'Brien, the player that's down. And it will be a free kick at the edge of their own box for Wrexham.
They'll be well happy with this, Wrexham, just to stop the game as well, halt the momentum, because you know now that Coventry are going to throw absolutely everything that they can at this to try and get the equaliser. So the more disjointed that this game now gets, and they can try and halt the rhythm of Coventry, the better for Wrexham.
Okonkwo will launch this forward 10 yards outside his own penalty area. Right-footed, and Kitchen is the player who has to backpedal and wins the header at the edge of his own penalty area. Cleworth into the night Welsh sky, and it's gathered up by Rushworth. And then Grimes is under pressure at the edge of his penalty area. They're pressing very well here, Wrexham, and it means the long ball has to come out, which Ellis Sims will try and win the header. Mason Clark on this near side is being pulled a little bit by Cleworth. The referee not interested, but he found it hard to get away, and in the end Jay De Silva can't control the ball and keep it in, and it's a throw to Wrexham again down this right hand side. 14 minutes remaining on Talksport 2, and Wrexham have the advantage here, courtesy of Keith the Moore. Hadn't scored in 7 before tonight, and 2 goals in the space of 9 minutes have given Wrexham the advantage here against the unbeaten league leaders. The only unbeaten record in the top 4 divisions, and it could well be disappearing tonight. Grimes is going to take this free kick about 10 yards inside his own half. Gets it to De Silva. De Silva then skips forward on this near touchline. Cabore's after him. Here's Mason Clark on the charge inside the penalty area to the byline. Looks to get the crossover, wins the corner. Well defended again by Cleworth, who's had a really good game tonight.
Yeah, he has. His positioning in particular, I think, has been really intelligent.
Lewis O'Brien in deep conversation with the referee. Not sure what that was about, but Torp is over here and right-footed. It's going to swing the corner in for Coventry City. They trail 2-1. Leaders of the championship. Right-footed towards that back post. It evades everybody. May have got a flick off a Coventry head, but O'Brien's kept it in, so maybe not, as he tries to get it forward to Kiefer Moore. That's well done by Kessler Hayden. Forward it goes on this near touchline. Mason Clark again, he's full of energy tonight, looking to take on Cleworth time and time again. Gives it back here. Kitchen's ball in. Sims was there, couldn't quite get to the end of it. It's away by, on that far side, Kakache. And now it's Sakamoto. He's got Kessler Hayden with him. Sakamoto cutting in onto his left foot. Poor ball into the penalty area. Cleared away by the substitute Dobson. Taken down again, this time by Eccles. Won by Matty James, who then gets it forward to Windass, the provider of the first goal for Kiefer Moore. Now on this right-hand side, Cabore on the charge. He's taking on Jay De Silva. He's very direct, gets inside the penalty area, but he went down beforehand, having run across Jay De Silva, and the referee says, get up, no foul.
I think it's a foul. It's definitely not a penalty because he falls into the box, but I'm not sure in what world that's not a free kick. Really clever Cabore, gets across De Silva, but referee sees it different.
He's not had any of that tonight, really, has he? There's been a few of those instances. He's just not really been interested. Sims has got the other side here of Hyam, holds the ball up nicely. He's got support in the box, which arrives at the edge of the penalty area, in fact, for Eccles. Sakamoto on that far side. Kessler Hayden goes outside, chips across towards the back post, but he's chipped it straight into touch and out of play for what will be a goal kick for Wrexham. 11 minutes to go here on Talksport 2. It's Wrexham 2, Coventry City 1.
Kessler Hayden looks a lot better this last 5 or 10 minutes since the substitutes, actually, and I wonder whether as well, when the substitutes happened, there was information for Frank Lampard to say, look, you've got to get higher, you've got to help us, because that's something that we didn't really see from him as much in the first half. It's definitely changed.
Wrexham taking their time, no surprise. They lead 2-1. Just over 10 minutes to go. Could this be Coventry City's first defeat of the season? Big games coming up. Sheffield United on Tuesday. Stoke away next weekend, then West Brom and Middlesbrough as well. And Charlton. Some of those teams in and around the top 7. It's quite a challenging set of fixtures to come for Wrexham as well. 4 of the next 7, including tonight, against top 7 sides. An away trip to Portsmouth, and then Charlton, Ipswich, Bristol City and Blackburn still to come as well in the next few weeks. So we head towards that fairly busy Christmas period. Into the real meat and drink of this championship campaign now, where we find those fixtures Tuesday, Saturday, time and time again. How you deal with that can very much set the tone for your campaign. O'Brien finds Kabore on the right hand side. Lovely cross Rushworth collects just as Kiefer Moore was arriving to try and plant a header away to claim the match ball. Counter is on though. Immediately Eccles on that right hand side for Coventry City. Gives it to Sakamoto. Kesler Hayden is on halfway and will drop in and gather possession. Sakamoto again. Looks to come infield. He's fouled in the process by Kakache, and that will be a free kick about 15 yards inside the Wrexham half.
There's opportunities for Wrexham, you see, on the counter-attack, because now as Coventry are getting more desperate, more bodies will go forward. I like the way that Kabore is getting forward in the second half specifically, and actually that was a really good ball. I think he's got every right to be actually a bit disappointed that no one got on the end of that one.
Well, they're taking a while over this free kick, Coventry, because they want to, I think, set things up. Victor Torp is going to take it, and it's allowed Kitchen and Co to come forward, and it is going to be Torp to deliver. Kitchen, Wolfenden, Sims, you'd feel, are the targets inside the penalty area. At the moment, they're all queuing up in a line right across the edge of the box, stretching across the 18-yard line. Torp, he's gone deep with that one. Kitchen with a header, and it's into the arms of Okonkwo, quite comfortable in the end.
It's a decent ball, but I like the way that the defenders are in touch with Kitchen, so even though he gets the head on it, make sure that they're in contact and it's not a clean header.
8 minutes to go. Here's O'Brien looking to get away that time from Wolfenden. He's done brilliantly. Kakache, and Windass has made a run into the box. It almost comes towards Moore at the edge, but it's well defended in the end by Grimes, who gets it out to Sakamoto on that far side. Sakamoto is going to be fouled, is he? The referee says no, get up. And Frank Lampard is absolutely furious, talking to the fourth official. Here's Windass inside the box. Kiefer Moore with a chance! Kiefer Moore, hat-trick for Wrexham, and it's going to be the Dragons that down the Sky Blues. The team at the top of the championship are being taken apart in the Welsh Valleys, and it's Kiefer Moore who single-handedly has done the work himself. A hat-trick for Moore, and Coventry City's unbeaten record is in tatters when they leave Wales tonight. Wrexham 3, Coventry City 1.
Great finish, but I love the run. It's clever. It's down the blind side of the defender, and then when the moment's right, he strikes it. Doesn't take any extra touches than what he needs. Just lets it come around him, strikes it first time, and it's so difficult in that position then as a goalkeeper to get set. When you take it early like that, struck it hard and low. And what's that in terms of the 3? Was his first goal with his right or his left?
Too far away for us to see, but it could be a perfect hat-trick.
It could be a perfect hat-trick, but regardless, it doesn't matter when you've got 3 to your name, when you've effectively won your side the game. Second win at home this season. He won't care how they go in.
Well, it's what they brought him to the football club to do, wasn't it? To score goals. And a bit like London buses after Wrexham buses after a dry spell, they all come flooding at once, don't they?
But you know what, he's been really clinical, and this is what we said at the start of the game. He gets himself in good positions, and maybe a little bit of lack of confidence. He's missed opportunities recently that you'd expect him not to, but everything that he's done tonight is, you know, he's been perfect really. It's all ended up in the back of the net. He's then getting involved in the build-up there, winning free kicks. His centre-forward play at times, even in the first half when Wrexham weren't playing well, the way that he's been coming off and setting and letting everyone else come into play, he's been excellent.
Well, Kiefer Moore, I mean, the one thing we said about him at the start of the second half was he looked like he was getting a little bit frustrated, didn't he? But he seems to have tempered that frustration and channeled it in the best way possible.
Well, you're exactly right, Adam, with that word, channeled. Frustration, I like that a little bit. I like to play a little bit angry. I thought it got the best out of me, but you've got to channel it in the right way, and Kiefer Moore certainly done that tonight.
Windass has departed, and by my reckoning, it's his first hat-trick since 2018, when he got 3 for Barnsley when they beat Rochdale by 4-0. So he's waited a long time to hit 3 in a game as Kiefer Moore. I've just had a quick glance through the record books for that one. I may stand corrected if anyone, but I think it looks like that to me. 2018. What can Coventry do now in the last 5 minutes? Nothing really. They've taken off their leading championship goal scorers, although to be fair to Kiefer Moore, he's on 7 now. He's right up their tail. There's not a lot that Lampard could do apart from mark this one down as a tough night in the office, and I think may I hear that phrase, we go again against Sheffield United on Tuesday. Yeah,
there has to be a reaction, and it's so difficult to go through a whole season unbeaten, especially in the EFL when the games are so thick and fast. So it's just making sure that then this doesn't derail, their next few games, and I'm sure they've got enough quality and character in the squad to make sure it doesn't.
Here's Sakamoto on that far side. Kessler Hayden going outside of him. Cuts the ball across to the edge of the penalty area. Now a chance for Victor Torp. Flicks it on Mason Clark inside the box. Took it on his head and was just trying to work a shooting opportunity, but couldn't quite manage it in the end. And now De Silva will pick up the ball on halfway for Coventry City. And now a chance to charge forward for, this time, Kitching, who's trying to drive his team with 5 minutes to go here. Wrexham leading by 3-1. A Kiefer Moore hat-trick. Here's Torp, right for the ball into the box. Little flick on from Kitching, and it's gathered by Okonkwo. The best statistician I know, Jim Proudfoot, tells me I was right. It is Moore's first hat-trick since August 2018. But it also was a perfect hat-trick. We obviously couldn't see what he finished with his first leg because we don't have the benefit of replays here, and the goal is quite some distance away. So
thanks, Jim.
Yeah, perfect hat-trick. Thank you, Jimbo. And a hat-trick of Windass assists as well. And he'd not had an assist for Wrexham before tonight. There we go. Here's a shot coming in from Moore from the edge of the penalty area. He fancied his chances for number 4, but it's easily saved by Rushworth.
Jim, get the stats ready for 4 goals.
3 minutes to go. Well, as far as I can see back in the record books, I'm not sure he's ever managed that, but a terrific performance from Kiefer Moore. Not so from the league leaders. Torp. De Silva. Back to Grimes. Grimes towards the edge of the penalty area. And it's on this near side. It's picked up by Mason Clark. Torp. Sakamoto's there. Sakamoto pulls one back for Coventry City. Advantage played, and Sakamoto strikes again. And maybe this isn't over. Maybe there is a twist in the tail yet, with 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time to play. It's another for Sakamoto. That's 3 and 4 appearances for him, and it's Wrexham 3, Coventry City 2.
What a finish this is, by the way. The way that he whips it, that wand of a left foot. And it's always bending away from Okonkwo, but it's not just the precision on it, it's the power. He flies past the goalkeeper so quickly, absolutely nothing he can do about it. And is there then maybe a twist in this tail?
It certainly is. It's Halloween night, and well, it's all going off tonight, isn't it? Let's be honest. 3-2. Well, I've seen some cracking games this week already. That 4-3 at Molineux on Wednesday night was pretty outstanding, but this now, it's looking like he wants to rival it, and Kitchen again is the driving force as he leoparded, tries to play a ball through, and in the end Sims was chasing after it but couldn't quite get there. 90 seconds plus added time to play. Wrexham 3, Coventry 2.
Well, there'll be a little bit of trepidation in the air for the home fans, there's no doubt about that. Yes, they're getting behind the team, you can hear them, but a goal now, it just makes that worry a little bit more pronounced, doesn't it?
There's certainly nerves around us, let's put it that way. A minute plus stoppage time to play. Wrexham 3, Coventry City 2, and this is the championship which week in, week out delivers drama in abundance. Here's a chance for Eccles. Right-footed ball clipped forward. Sims is trying to run into the channel. Hyam's there to head it away, but that man again, Sakamoto, charging forward to try and get there. Didn't quite make it. Here's a through ball towards the edge of the penalty area. A chance may be here for Sam Smith. He's just forced out away from goal. Smith will then look to play the ball back, as he does very well there to Matty James. Left-hand side, Kakachi on the charge inside the penalty area, still going. Kesler Hayden just holds him off and then just keeps the ball safe at the byline, but then Kiefer Moore gets involved and the ball's not going to run out of play, and it's cleared by Josh Eccles up towards halfway, and it's picked up on that left-hand side by Hyam, who clips it down that far touchline. Kiefer Moore's there, but the ball's out of play and into touch for what will be a throw-in on that far side. How many minutes of added time are we getting at the end of this game? We don't know, because they're going to take Matty James off and replace him with George Thomason on that far side. And we've got 5 added minutes. So James is off, Thomason's on. We have 5 minutes remaining here. And obviously, by the way, in the aftermath of that Windass assist, of course, Sam Smith did come on. I think I forgot to tell you about that substitution after Kiefer Moore's third goal. 5 minutes remaining for Coventry City to retrieve their unbeaten record, which 5 minutes ago was in the bin and in tatters. Header on halfway. O'Brien will try and take it down for Wrexham, but he puts it into touch, and Coventry will have it on the far side. We've already had a minute of the 5 that was promised as a minimum by referee Elliot Bell. Forward towards Sims. Trying to get away on that far side is Mason Clark. Left-footed ball from Cleworth, and it's into touch, and a throw on that far side for Coventry midway inside the Wrexham half. I mean, talk about a true test here of what Coventry's mettle is, as Sakamoto tries to chase after it, but it's out of play, and it will be a goal kick for Wrexham. Each goal kick, each throw-in, cheered by those around us. 3.5 minutes of added time to play. Wrexham 3, Coventry City 2.
It's just about game management now for Wrexham, taking the sting out of the game, not doing anything silly, where you can within the legal rights of the footballing law, wasting as much time as possible to get that 3 points.
Let's hope tomorrow's fixtures give us as much drama. Leicester against Blackburn at 12:30, 3 o'clock Watford against Middlesbrough. Both games live on Talksport 2, of course. Lovely little flick onto Kiefer Moore, edge of the penalty area. Sam Smith is out wide to the right-hand side, but Moore just slows the game down. He knows they don't need to go searching for a 4. They lead 3-2. 3 minutes of added time to play. On that left-hand side, Wrexham have it. Keeping hold of it, back to Hyam on halfway. Now it's Scarr. Must be feeling the effects of 90 minutes of football here, you'd feel, Dan Scarr, but he's still going. Sam Smith wins that first header. There is a foul there from Dobson. It was on Eccles, and it's a free kick for Coventry, 10 yards short of halfway. Smith in no rush to give the ball back to Matt Grimes. And in fact, his delaying meant that Grimes has gained an extra 10-15 yards there. Kabore, who's been excellent in the second half, with a challenge on Mason Clark, wins the throw for Coventry City. Good work by Clark, persistent. Here's Kitching again. Here he is driving the team forward. Left-hand side to Silva now. There's 4 blue shirts in the penalty area. De Silva clips it over towards Sakamoto. Sakamoto knocks it down towards Ellis Sims, and it's cleared from the edge of the penalty area by Thomason. Chases on for Kiefer Moore. Rushworth's going to get there first outside of his penalty area. Keeps the ball alive on the far side with Wolfenden. Here's Grimes, 2 minutes to play of added time. Wrexham leading 3-2. Kitching over halfway to that right-hand side. It's picked up by Eccles. Far side Kesler Hayden. Down the line goes Sakamoto. Hyam, back row of the stands. 90 seconds to go. Throw in the Coventry on the far side.
There'll probably be one more chance. The fans are trying to hide that ball in there, not realising they're on a multi-ball system, so it's not going to make too much difference.
And I think people are going to notice when he goes out with it stuck on his jumper. I think there's no two ways about that. Oh, eventually now, to add some extra delay, they throw it on, of course. Elliot Bell, though, just signals that he's noted it on his watch. Just over 60 seconds. I think they're wishing for a Van Ivik throw at this point. But no, Kesler Hayden doesn't go very far, and O'Brien's on the breakaway. Down the left-hand side, he's got Kiefer Moore with him. I suspect he's going to head to the corner flag. And he does. under pressure on that far side from Kesler Hayden, who makes the challenge. And it's going to be a Wrexham ball right by the corner flag, and we're into the last 60 seconds.
Well, there's been two moments there in terms of O'Brien being clever, managing the game well, and about a minute earlier with Kiefer Moore, you could drive forward, take the shot on, but they don't need to do that. Just come back, recycle the ball, make sure you don't give it away.
5 yards from the corner flag. Here's the throw in for Wrexham. Referee again just trying to get a move on. Clock is ticking down. Wrexham 3, Coventry City 2. Throw is taken short, trying to work hard to win it on that far side. Right by the corner flag is Dobson. He's under pressure, surrounded by sky blue shirts who try to get it away and get it out, which they do at that touchline, but into touch for another Wrexham throw. Last few seconds of the 5 originally added by referee Elliot Bell. The only unbeaten record in the top 4 divisions of English football is about to go. Wrexham with the throw on the far side. They're delaying by the corner flag. Kiefer Moore looking to hold the ball up. He's got 3 sky blue shirts around him. Eventually they try to get it out with De Silva, and now Kitching will try and bring it forward. We are 30 seconds over the 5 originally added by Elliot Bell, but there's been a fair amount of time wasting. Kitching, left-footed ball, pumped towards the edge of the box. Scar is there, and there is the final whistle. It's been a horror of a night for Coventry City. Their unbeaten record has gone, and it's Kiefer Moore who will come back to haunt them on this Halloween night. 3 goals, the perfect hat-trick, his first since 2018, and it gives Wrexham their second home win of the season, but really shows their point of arrival in this championship. They've taken down the league leaders, the unbeaten side, the goal scorers, the team with the best goal difference in the top 5 leagues, barring Bayern Munich. That's how good Coventry have been. But on the night, Wrexham were better, and Kiefer Moore was outstanding. Coventry took the lead, but then they went back with a 3-1 lead, courtesy of that perfect hat-trick from Kiefer Moore. Sakamoto made things tight at the end, but it's Phil Parkinson's side who take the 3 points, and Coventry City, their unbeaten run, comes to an end in the Welsh Valleys. Full time here, Wrexham 3, Coventry City 2.
It's Wreck-It Wrexham. They've shattered Coventry's unbeaten start to the championship season, but will it break the Sky Blues' confidence? A huge game against Sheffield United to come on Tuesday night. Kiefer Moore is the boogeyman on Halloween. Wrexham leap 5 places in the table to 11th. They visit Portsmouth on Wednesday night. Coventry host Sheffield United on Tuesday. They stay top for now, but Borough can move level with them on points if they can beat Watford live on Talksport 2 at 3 p.m. here tomorrow. Remember, our lunchtime kickoff before that sees Leicester City host Blackburn Rovers. Courtney Sweetman cut. It's a huge evening for the Red Dragons at the racecourse. How important could that win be for them?
Yeah, it's huge on a lot of levels in terms of, that home form we talked about. That needs to get better, so it's an inch closer to that and improving that going forward for Kiefer Moore on a personal level to get that perfect hat-trick. And actually his all-round performance and the way that he managed the game I was really impressed with, and he's the one we said, when you're struggling, you need your experienced heads, you need those players to stand up, which he did in spades tonight. And obviously the fans getting behind the team as well, not that they weren't already, but those things, they're brilliant in isolation, but when it all comes together, it just gives everyone a boost going forward, and they'll hope, Wrexham, that that's the start of a really good run over the next few weeks.
Yeah, we mentioned Kiefer Moore before the game. You're right, all of that experience, but a player of his quality, and that's what he really showed tonight. It's what he should be showing much more often, really. He's more than good enough to be a dominant factor in terms of the forwards in this division, particularly playing for Wrexham. And tonight we got to see the best of him.
Yeah, we did. I think his third goal in particular, the way that he peels round down the left-hand side, strikes it early, and gets that goal to finish it off. I think I was really impressed with. But as you say, all night, even in the first half when Wrexham weren't playing so well, his hold-up play and bringing everyone else into play, I was mightily impressed with. And in the second half as well, I must mention Kabore and Lewis O'Brien, because obviously I mentioned about Lewis O'Brien in the first half. I wasn't sure about his positioning, but in the second half he got that right, and Kabore playing a lot higher caused a lot of carnage down that Wrexham right-hand side.
great performance from Wrexham all in all. They'll look to springboard. And actually, you look at this team, listen, every quality players you mentioned, at Moore, Kabore, of course, O'Brien, Windass is in there. They've brought in experience in defence as well. You know, you look at this Wrexham team and some people writing them off and you think, you know, this is a football club that over the last 4 or 5 years has shown they do have, you know, quite a high level of ambition. They are ready to go and spend the money that they need to go and improve the team. January doesn't feel that far away suddenly, and you think if they can stay in touch with the top 6 and add some more of that quality for the second half of the season, we could easily be looking at a top 6 side, because they've shown in their performances, not just tonight but against the other big teams in the division, that they are more than capable of being at that level.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and I think we said it before the game, didn't we? There were 5 points off relegation, but also 5 points off the playoffs. I think that win now takes them up to 11th, albeit obviously they've played a game more than everyone else aside from Coventry. But we always say this about the Championship: you get a good run in at the right time, and like you say, if you're in there and abouts in January, you've got owners that want to invest, that want to spend, but already. You know, you've mentioned the players on the pitch, and also your likes of Conor Cody, Nathan Broadhead, Ryan Longmans, that have got so much experience in the Championship. So I stick by what I said before the game in terms of, I think there's probably an expectation a little bit too much of them this season. But also, that's not me saying that they can't go and push for playoffs, because I think they can. They've got the ability. It's just about the consistency. And in January, it'll be really interesting to see what the club do and how they back the manager.
Great night for their fans. Kiefer Moore applauds them as he trudges off with the match ball under his arm. What next for Frank Lampard and Coventry? I guess the key thing is they make sure that this result doesn't affect them going into a big game against Sheffield United. Despite where they are in the table, we know their qualities, we know the qualities of their manager. They can't let it spiral into a bad run of results.
No, they can't. They've got to take this in isolation. You go, you do your analysis, you pick out the good bits, you pick apart the bad bits, and then you work together to see how you're going to change it. So, look, they weren't at it, Coventry, tonight, especially in that second half. And I don't want to take away from Wrexham because they were brilliant in the second half and deserved the win. I'm not saying any different, but they're on two different trajectories at the moment, these teams. And for Coventry, it's about how quickly can we rectify first, actually, the issues, forget, because this is what you have to be an elite athlete. You almost have to have that goldfish memory of, yes, that's gone, that's done. We change the mentality, we change the focus, and make sure the next game that we play, we go and win that game. But you're right, Sheffield United, obviously, I know they're 22nd in the table, and this is not me with my old Blades hat on, but look, they're not that team. They will get better, they will improve under Chris Wilder. So it's not going to be as easy as going into a game, going to a team in the relegation fight. It's going to be the easy game, because it won't be.
Great game to start off the weekend in the Championship. My thanks to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk there and Adam Bridge as well. Great night at the racecourse, and we got more great live football to bring you on Talksport 2 tomorrow. 3 live games here on Talksport 2, 2 of them in the Championship. Leicester against Blackburn at lunchtime. 3 p.m. sees Watford host Middlesbrough. We've got an FA Cup first round game between Brackley and Notts County at 5:30. And by the way, tonight, a bit of a classic at Kenilworth Road. Luton were 3-0 up. Forest Green Rovers brought it back to 3-3 before Luton scored a winner just after 90 minutes to break their hearts. Robbie Savage's side beaten by that of Jack Wilshere in dramatic circumstances. Let's hope for more drama tomorrow. We've got live boxing from Manchester as well. Joshua Boazzi against Zach Parker. The undercard starts here on Talksport 2 from 7:30. We'll have the main event on Talksport from 10 p.m. So there you go. What an evening for you. They'll be having nightmares about Kiefer Moore on Halloween after his second half hat-trick inflicts a first defeat of the season on Frank Lampard's Coventry. It's finished Wrexham 3, Coventry 2.